What's happening, gang? How is everyone doing in the world today? Hopefully, everyone had a great Christmas and is looking forward to a amazing 2025. Where hopefully we are all happy, healthy, successful, and we get a watch or two that we want. Wouldn't that be great? That would be like the big bonus, I think. Logan Hall is Grill Streams. You guys need to subscribe to Logan Hall if you want to learn how to. Oh, geez, he's really good. Really good. Lots of good tips, lots of good techniques. Subscribe to Logan Hall's Grill Streams and learn how to use the equipment you probably already have. Roth C. Antwerp, good morning, Lucha. Have a great one. Yes, you too, sir. And so on the screen, breakfast. It was hot honey ham, hash and egg. So chopped up some ham, and I made a sauce, basically with some hot honey, some smoked paprika, some cayenne, a little bit of chili oil. Mixed all that together. Chopped up the ham, some leftover ham. Let that sit in that sauce overnight. And fried it up, added the taters and onions and peppers and green onions, topped it with an egg. Delicious. Hard to beat. Hard to beat. Speaking of hard to beat, BW is in the house. Good morning, BW. How are you? How is everyone doing? You got 6 lovely people watching. So, since it's a small amount, I'll let you 6 in on a little secret. Do you guys want a secret? Do people like secrets? Do they like to know things that not everyone knows yet? There's something on the way. I almost did something a couple weeks ago, but I did it late Friday night, early Saturday morning, I guess. I finished it all up, and something will be showing up soon. Excuse me. So that means there's a watch coming. Could be any number of the watches I've talked about, because I've talked about a lot that I like. Way too many. It's hard to decide. Really came down to like 4 different choices. But hopefully I made the correct choice. We shall see. I'm certain that 75% of the people will go, why? But that's okay. I got to buy what I like. So we don't know. Did I go big, small, medium? Did I go diver, pilots, high beats, colorful, carbon, steel? What did I do? Titanium. I've talked about all kinds of different watches in these different categories. And I've been scouring the interwebs for something because I've had the itch. Part of it is I've just been wearing the this every day, and although this is going to be my, I'm sure, still normal daily wear. Look at that thing. Look at those lyre lugs. That bracelet's killer on this thing. Really, really beautiful. On the Omega Speedmaster Super Racing with Spyrate technology. Would OC approve of your new watch? It's probably. I don't think OC would ever approve of anything that I like or buy. I'm not a hype beast, so I don't get into the big the watches that a lot of people like. I like stuff that's different, stuff that fits my personality, stuff that I'm going to wear. And that's really the key, and that's why I really downsized. Is I want 2 or 3 watches that I'm going to wear. You know, That's the whole deal. But that being said, the whole deal. Johnny O in the house. How is Johnny O? So here's the thing, because I finished it up Saturday morning, they are going to size and ship it, I believe. So that means you normally have them shipped to work because there's always people there to receive stuff, even if I'm not available in the parts department. It is being FedEx. I don't know if it's going to be overnight, so I don't know if I will have this Tuesday or Thursday because we are closed on New Year's Day. So if they do say that it's coming in on Wednesday, I may have to go. I don't know. I can either just get it, wait for it till Thursday, or I guess I can get out and hang out at the office for a couple hours until they show up. Really depends. Truly depends. But it'll be exciting. I'm not sure where I'm going to unbox this beast. But wow, Shadow, you're really crying a lot. Hold on, let me get the cat. I'm going to turn off the cam here for a second. Let me go grab my cat. Poor Shadow girl. Come on. Come on. Go. I know you're crying. You cry a lot. You cry a lot. You're like a crybaby. So my cat crying a lot. Oh, she hates when I hold her too. But we'll show who is making all this ruckus. I know. Say hi to Shadow Girl. Say hi, world. How are you? There's the Shadow. Hold on, let me put her up on the. You want to go somewhere else? I know, but you're so pretty. Such a pretty girl. Yeah. Yes, you are. She's a good cat. And does she cry a lot though? She loves the attention. I have two cats. They're brother and sister, Shadow Girl and Mr. Fuzzy. Two black cats. Why black cats? Well, they're, I think, 4 or 5 years old. They're brother and sister. Nobody was adopting. People don't adopt black cats a lot. So, and they're actually really friendly and really sweet. So, I tend to do that. I tend to adopt the unadoptable. I have a born blind dachshund named Sherman, my double dabble piebald little buddy. I once went and adopted the longest tenured dog at a shelter who also was blind. His name was Pirate. And gave him he was old and he got to live out his last 2.5 years in a home and have a bed and treats and dog friends. So there you go. Important. It is important to give back to your community and to the animals. You know? So what's going on out there in the world? Does anybody have any kind of guess as to what I may have done? Because I did something. Who knows if you're going to like it or not? We've already established that OC, the original OC, probably will hate my choice. But that's okay. But we've probably documented 10 to 15 watches that I really like here in the last month. So I'm sure, I know it's in that grouping. And it'll be exciting. Like I said, I don't know where I'm going to unbox it. I don't know if it's if I'll just do it on this channel when I get it, or if I'll do it on someone else's channel. We could do it on this channel and fundraise for a better studio. Uh, or we could do it somewhere else for charity, or we could do it somewhere else for fun. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I could use it as a tool to get more people to come view the Sunday morning stream. Who knows? I haven't made up my mind. But what I did make up my mind was breakfast was delicious. That ham, hot honey ham hash and eggs was great. Still have some of those sourdough English muffins, a couple of those left. So we paired it with that. Boom. Look at that ham. That was chopped up Christmas ham. So the rest of the Christmas ham is going to be turned into a traditional Irish boiled dinner this week. That is definitely on the horizon. When we last met, it was Christmas Eve for those of you that were here. So there's the table. There was only the four of us, me, my mom, and my brothers. But that was the table of deliciousness. There was my plate. Now, my family, and I actually went a little over. They're very medium meat people. So I usually try and take something off the ends. It's a little less cooked, but I think I cooked this one a little, probably about 15 minutes too long. But it was still delicious. It was still freaking delicious. And they're big gravy people for their potatoes and stuff. So instead of an au jus, I made them gravy. Uh, I had to filter that out twice because of all of the fat that had rendered off the fat cap of the rib roast. But we ended up with some prime rib, some ham, my famous cheesy potatoes, some balsamic green beans, some mashed potatoes. My brother Jason is a big mashed potato guy. Gravy and a little bit of stuffing. I still always make a little bit of stuffing on Christmas, even though we don't do the turkey anymore. Is what it is. Are you guys out there? Is anybody out there? Nobody's chatting. The chat has been dying the last few weeks. I use a fat separator to make pan sauces. Well, there you go. I want to look into that. I strained it through a steel mesh colander, and then I had some filter paper. All right, they were old coffee filters. Then I put it back through that, and then I made the gravy because it was the fat got really melted. But it was so good. Prime rib is so good. Logan will be disappointed I made it in the oven. One of my favorite things in life is the smell of the house on the holidays. It just when there is a turkey or a standing rib roast or on Wednesday, January 1st, we'll be cooking a big pork roast and sauerkraut. It just makes I don't know, it's that wonderful smell that makes the house feel warmer and happier. It makes me happier. You know, great memories associated with those smells. My cooking method for the prime rib. So I do the 450 for 15 minutes to give it an oven sear. And then I reduce the heat down to 300 and let it go. So I can't even remember the temperature. What did I go to? I can't remember what I went to. But I went a little over. I rest it, and then you let it rest for. I let this one rest for 25 minutes. Give it time to internalize that temperature and rest. Logan says the oven is okay. There are worse sins that could be committed. It's true. I could have microwaved it. I could have microwaved it like Evan G did his hockey puck white. Egg whites out of a jar or out of a thing into the microwave. Horrible. But all in all, can't complain. Delicious meal. Got to hang out with my brothers, my mom. Always good times. Always good times. The cranberry sauce. What I do with it is I get the jar or the can of the berries, and I add some spices and a little bit of mandarin orange. Run it through the blend, blend it up real quick. And that's what I do for my cranberry sauce. It's a little bit of a cheat. I don't cook them down, but I spend a lot of time prepping all this stuff to get ready to cook for everyone. In fact, I believe that yes, I did. So yeah, this is like kind of like prepping, you know. It's a lot of food for 4 people, but I've been eating this all week. Like I said, I'll make dishes out of it. So I'll have a traditional boiled dinner, a pork roast with sauerkraut on Wednesday. I've been eating prime rib all week. Just worst things in life, you know. There's my lovely table setting before the dinner. I always put out those Christmas things here, so they're real thick, so you don't burn through the table. But they were a gift from an ex, so I like to when she stalks my social media pages, I like her to know that I'm still using her stuff. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. Makes me a little bit petty, I guess. But what the hell? What are you gonna do? I also I think I can play this without the music so you guys can see this. This is kind of like a bunch of watches from 2024. Boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. My stomach is making noises today. I got a crying cat and a whining stomach. I was watching. I think I missed a couple. I was just trying to grab some pictures and throw them into a quick video. Boom. So there you go. There's that. Anybody pick anything up? Anybody get any interesting watch stuff for Christmas? Not necessarily even a watch, but even something watch adjacent, some tools or a strap or a book or I did get the books. I showed those on Christmas Eve, the 2 Omega books, which I thought was nice. Oh, and I got my brother got me a subscription to Watch Time magazine. How nice was that? Thought that was kind of cool of him. Made for an interesting gift. Yeah, I don't know if that comes out monthly, quarterly, every other. I don't even know. I'm not even sure. It's been so long since I actually had a magazine subscription. It's kind of interesting. But we also had what else is going on this week? Oh, pulled out the Macallan 12. And I got all the prep done and cleaned up a little bit. Got the table set. Had a quick glass of scotch. Who doesn't love scotch? Tune into Kyle D. He'll tell you all about the scotch and what you should know. And of course, if you weren't here on New Year's Eve, made a quick shrimp scampi with angel hair. We used to do a big Christmas Eve dinner, but with the huge Christmas dinner, it just got to be a little much. So we went that way. But again, never fear, Lucha is here. Put out the Lucha signal and I will show up. But this hash, this hot honey ham hash, was delicious this morning. No complaints. Happy New Year coming soon. Yes, it is, Marcelo. Happy New Year, Marcelo. Johnny O says, is there a watch that you sold in 2024 that you wish you had back? That is a good question. Let's go back to that video coming through so I can see them all again. I still have that. Still have that. Let's see. That was a good watch, but small. That was a nice watch, but I didn't really need it, and they pissed me off in service. That's a great watch. Something I sold. I miss and don't miss this watch. I didn't like the strap. I wish that they had the new bracelet for it, or they had a darker blue strap for it, because I really got tired of the light blue strap pretty quickly. But the actual watch itself was amazing. Sometimes I miss the Skyline, but Zenith is just turned me off so bad with the brand, with all the homage stuff that they're doing, including really this watch in a lot of ways. But this was a cool watch. Maybe this, but it was so light in titanium, and the strap sucked. The strap sucked on this thing. But the watch face, cool as hell. It's so light. I always miss having an Aquaterra around. Yeah, probably the blue Aquaterra, I think. You'd have to say that. The blue Aquaterra was a great watch. The dial was phenomenal. And I thought I would really like that rubber strap, which the rubber strap was really nice itself, as far as the way it was made, the flexibility of it, the class, all that stuff was top rate with that thing. It was just the light blue. Made it not go with a lot of things, and made it was too light blue, you know. It was too light blue. The Tudor I liked a lot. You know, the Black Bay 41 master chronometer with the red bezel, but I hated the aluminum bezel. I prefer ceramic bezel on a watch. But it's a cool watch. There were a number of watches I wish I had bought, and maybe one of those is coming Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. We shall see. It's like late Christmas, but I know what's in the box. You know. Is there anything happening in the world of watches? Let's see. Everybody's doing their year-end retrospectives of watches, what they liked and didn't like. I found that this watch, in a way, boom. So this watch is amazing. And although it was officially released in 2023, it wasn't really that available for a long time. I don't know if that was because of the spy rate system, building those to get them out, or what it was. But that watch, which you really started seeing coming into ADs in 2024, was a great watch release. But I don't know. I guess technically it's a 23. But I love it. There it is on the screen, showing it's on the 10th, showing the Speedy 10 designation. Billy, good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning. And again, I'm going to see you guys one day this week. I just don't know which day because I'm not sure when it's coming. Coming from a very reputable dealer. So I have no doubts on the shipping and stuff. Yeah, I went back and forth on a few different watches and a few different models, makes and models. And then I also went back and forth within those makes and models on different ones. I went with I got a good deal, but I probably could have gotten a better deal going with someone else. But there's a trust factor and you know, with certain ADs and dealers, you need to look at that. And I think that's important because you can, these are expensive and you don't want to get taken advantage of. You don't want to end up with, like a super clone or something like that. You want to make sure of what you're getting is what you thought you were getting, and that I just think that's really, really, really important. Stephen L says, "Hi Mark, do you have an IWC Engineer in your collection?" I do not. Um, I'm not sure how I feel about the Engineer. I don't dislike it. I don't love it. Um, and I know it was a big hit when they released it. Jesus, almost 2 years ago now, wasn't it? At Watches and Wonders. It's really expensive for what it is. I wish there was a couple changes. I wish the dial was a little bit different. I wish that they had different exhibition case back on it. I mean, there's some things that I wish were a little better about it, but I do like the watch. I don't know that I love it. And that just may be me and integrated sports bracelet watches. I mean, I like the Skyline. I've had some uh, the Tissot's, the PRX. I saw a guy wearing a PRX the other day at the market, and that's a good looking watch out in the wild. You know, catches the light well. Always happy to see someone wearing a proper watch. Do you have the Angenour, Stephen? I I don't dislike it. I think part of it was it just took so long to get it, and even at the local AD just to see one, it seemed like it was over a year for like this watch. Um, but it wasn't really on my radar. Billy says, absolutely right. Just save a couple $100. You won't sleep at night. Better to spend a couple hundred more and sleep better at night. Yeah, I can't tell you this enough. I can't stress this part enough. Do your due diligence. Like when I bought the IWC, it was from a dealer I didn't know, but seemed like a really good deal. And I got Brian involved. I had him, kind of checking on this guy, seeing what he was like, what his website was like, what his reviews, all that stuff before I pulled the trigger on that because it was I didn't know them, and I always, you know, you're like antsy about it when it's that kind of scenario. So better to, you know, better to know. But like I said, in this case, I thought it was worth it for the peace of mind. Johnny O says, I can't wait to see the new Aqua Timer. One does never know. One does never know. Steven says, no, it's too expensive. It is really expensive watch. It's a beautiful watch. I'm going to pull one up. I haven't looked at that watch in a long time. Let's go to the IWC website. IWC has a lot of watches that I like, but let's go find the new Engineer. What's your favorite color on the new Engineer? So 11.7 just seems steep for this watch. I guess they just came out with a dark blue model. Then 14.6 for the titanium. I mean, it's not that it's a bad watch. I'm just gonna pull this green one up because it seemed to be the belle of the ball when this thing was released. And it's a nice watch. It's just, is it just like everything else? Orca says you have to be careful. There are a lot of counterfeits, Frankensteins, and scammers out there. There really are. Uh, you see these videos and stuff. Some of these what they call the super clones, which are really hard to detect. And I will say this: one of the things when you have a watch, like say an Omega or even some of the IWCs, very rarely on a Rolex, but if it has an exhibition case back, it's a little bit easier to parse whether you have a fake or an original because it's just more stuff that they have to get correct because you can see the whole thing. I just it's a nerve thing, and that's why I try and buy through, you know, known dealers and known sites and stuff, because you do have to be careful. What's this thing loom like? Very pedestrian on the loom. But I will tell you, I mean, IWC, let us see the movement. You know, let us see the movement. But I mean, it's an expensive watch, I think, for what it is. I don't know. What do this was a super hype watch at Watches and Wonders a couple years ago. And it just sort of died off because they weren't really available. And they were really expensive. There's nothing wrong with the watch. It's a fine looking watch. I'd get rid of the crown guards, I think, I know it's a sports watch, but it's an integrated bracelet dress piece sports watch. It's only 40 millimeters. Um, I don't know. I didn't think it was. Now, I love the bracelet. I think the bracelet looks great. And I'll tell you this, I love the bracelet more. Let's go to Pilot's watches. Because they have this professional series watch. If they put that bracelet on, is that what it's called? Professional or I can't remember. The Mind is a tarot. Here it is. Performance chronograph 41. Now, I would say for the money, because this is 11.7, that was what, 11.6? You're getting a chronograph function, you're getting the bracelet still, you're getting the ceramic bezel, you're getting the applied numerals and Arabics, and the other thing you're getting on this is an exhibition back. It's the AMG back, but it's still, I like an exhibition back. I think it's just something that should be there. George Murray struck me dead. Just tuned in. I'm watching an IWC nightmare. Well, George, we thought you weren't here. Someone was asking about the Engineer. So we went over to the IWC website. We didn't know. We didn't know, George. It was not on purpose. His IWC is too expensive. It was like $9,000. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, $9,000 for that watch would be better. But for that money, if I could get this performance chronograph versus that in a 41 millimeter case with a good chronograph movement, and I don't know. I just think this is the better buy. I just think that's the better buy. I mean, it's no aqua timer. Would an excavation caseback affect the electromagnetic resistance, which is the primary function of the Enjoy? Oh, I guess you're right, Orco. Yeah, because they haven't. See, I have so many megas. I've owned so many megas. I'm just so used to the 15,000 Gauss thing that it confuses me. George Voorhees says Chase had these sub 8K. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. So this one is the performance chronograph, one that's on the screen right now. The one I know like Brian has. Oh God, really? Give me one of those websites. Why do watch company websites suck so bad? They're terrible. So Brian has basically this one. This is the titanium case. Oh, these with the AMG on the back. This was the Patronus Racing Edition. I don't believe that this one was available in a bracelet. Yeah, you get 2 straps with it. That's nice. Again, the titanium really light, really, really light. Not my favorite thing, but we're gonna. Ah, Jeez, Evan G says my dog shit Broncos are out of the playoff. Evan G, I got to be honest with you. My dog shit Steelers clinched this fat playoff spot 3 weeks ago, but have sucked ever since. We have reverted to Broncos Russell Wilson, I believe. I have no idea. This team that looked so good, it was on fire, and everyone was talking about them, has just laid three horrible eggs in 11 days. But so yes, Orko, you're correct. That's right. They put that weird iron cage or whatever in the watch for magnetism. I don't know. I can get an Omega with 15,000 Gauss anti-magnetism resistance and an exhibition case back and no iron. I think I'm going that way. I think George Voorhees is right. Unless it's an Aqua Timer, don't look at the IWC or the Big Pilots 43 or the. I'm sure there's another one I like too. Sorry, George. IWC is one of my brands. Faraday cage. Yes, that's correct. It's a good thing we have Orko in the chat. Yeah. We need more smart viewers. Oh man, but yeah, the Steelers are off today because they part of it. I don't know. I mean, 3 games in 11 days, 3 NFL football games in 11 days is a lot. And that's ridiculous. But there were 3 tough games against 3 good teams, and they were dog shit. Even the defense didn't look good. I mean, how, what kind of game plan is it when you draw it up and you go, you know what, that healthy guy, I don't think he's all that. Just let him run free. Just leave him in the end zone by himself. But meh. Evan says, sorry we infected your Steelers with our dog shit in there. It happens. It happens. He looked so good for a while there, and now he just cooks so bad. But, part of the problem is Pickens wasn't there for 2 of those 3 games. And then the game he was back to his lunatic head case ways. And he is truly a head case. We'll stop looking at IWC, so maybe George wants to jump on or stay in the chat. We'll go over and check out what Chase has over at the old Nashville Watch. See if he's got anything interesting in. No, well, there you go. 2023 Explorer for $10,950. That doesn't seem like a bad deal. Look at that. I say let's get off WC page. He appears.
Amen. I couldn't take that anymore, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Meatball. All the best. All the best.
Good morning, everyone in the chats. Hope everyone's having a Sunday fun day.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a nice watch for $10,950. That doesn't seem like a bad price for that watch, George.
Oh my gosh, that is a real. I love that watch. I owned one years ago.
That watch it's brand new, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's MSRP right there.
Yeah.
I was visiting some family last week in Texas. And,
I saw your barbecue pictures.
Oh yeah, I thought you'd love that. Oh my God, I never thought I'd go to a Michelin star barbecue restaurant. But damn. There was enough food that lasted us like two more days after that.
I can believe it.
I swear it was better the second and third day than it was the first day. You're waiting in line for 2 hours.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's so funny because it's like 50 degrees outside, and my family and I are like, dressed like without jackets. Everybody there is dressed like with thick jackets and muffs and everything. And they're looking at us kind of funny, like, where are you guys from? I said, this is like summer to us.
Yeah, really.
Mm.
Yeah, it looked delicious.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God, it
good.
was to die for.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that some of those barbecue places are so good. We
Then
have
we went to this.
in Pittsburgh, nothing.
Oh God, you can't beat Texas for barbecues, And then the 2 hour wait was kind of crazy,
Yeah.
uh, but it's because they got a Michelin star and they've always been good,
Yeah.
and it was really nice because
750.
I I went
750.
in to get they have like a little mini cafe so you could get like lattes and stuff. So everybody was so I thought I'd just go inside and get me a drink of some kind. And I met the owner and he was such a nice man
Oh, nice.
and gave me like a little semi-private tour of the kitchen and how they prepare everything. And
Oh,
it's
wow,
like,
that's really cool.
yeah, he just said don't take any photos. And I said no
Yeah.
problems, you know. But it was like first class. I mean, literally, like there wasn't a thing on the floor. And you think, barbecues are messy, right?
Mhm.
You would think there'd be like a little bit of dirt or something here and there. There wasn't a single thing out of place.
Yeah.
And it looked so clean. You could literally sit on the floor and eat your barbecue. That's how clean it was. So I'm pretty sure that played a part in them getting the Michelin star.
I'm sure that helped. And I'm sure that
So long
food looked
story
good.
short, then 2 days later we decided to go to Gus's famous. Uh, you can look it up. You can probably tell where I've been if you look at where I've been to. But Gus's fried chicken.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, and you're in a classy fried chicken joint when they're serving Dom Perignon on the menu.
That tells the tale.
I should have zoomed in on the Dom Perignon because that was hilarious. $500 for a bottle of Dom at a fried chicken joint. It's
Let's
funny as all hell. But anyways, I had a little free time, so I decided to go to the mall out there, and
Mhm.
for some strange reason, Hublot dragged me in,
Oh.
and it was really funny because I walk in and I was wearing my 16508, and and the guy said, "Oh, that's a really cool Daytona. Is that the
Uh-huh.
new one?" And
Oh, wow.
I go, okay, this guy,
Whoops.
yeah. So anyway, so we talked, and I tried on this Big Bang. It's called the Texas edition, and it looked just like the RM and everything else. And he's like, "Oh, this is a value," and I go, "Okay, well, how much is this?"
Uh-huh.
$33,000. So
Wow.
yeah, I was. It was absolutely crazy. I said, "Okay, thank you. I'll think about this one."
Let's see if I can't pull one of those up so we show the guy. Oh, yeah, it does look great RM, doesn't it?
Yeah, can you pull it up?
Yeah,
It
I'm
has
pulling.
like it's like a brown. Yeah, that's the one right there.
Wow, 34
Yeah,
grand
yeah,
SRP.
yeah,
Jeez, oh, Pete.
and no wait list.
I can imagine. Yeah. Mhm.
There's absolutely no
Wow,
wait list.
look
So
at that strap. Wow.
that's the Texas strap you're paying.
Yeah.
You're paying $33,900 for the strap and $100 for the everything else.
Yeah. Got the star on the rotor.
Hmm.
Damn. It'll go with your boots, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
If it came with the boots, then at least you get something, right? The
Just
the
getting
boots
something
aren't
out.
included. Yeah, the boots
Yeah.
aren't. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Brian knows. Yeah.
Yeah. People that is not
No,
equal.
that's called burning your money over there.
I'll just, yeah,
So,
later.
anyways, my family went shopping, so I thought, well, okay, I'll walk around here. They had all the high end stores, so I thought I'd walk into Neiman Marcus. So I walk in, and I ended up buying, a few $1,000s worth of cologne and other stuff, and
Okay.
they had a cool. They had, the interesting thing what they were doing was is they were offering free champagne and free a liquor. They
Huh.
had some kind of like a vodka cranberry infused drink, right?
Okay.
And they were offering it to anyone and everyone that was walking around. And I thought I've never seen that before.
No.
I guess they're trying to get people liquored up to buy all the overpriced
Oh,
merchandise they had
no.
there, you know.
Oh man.
Mm.
Fine.
But it was pretty nice time. It was
Yeah.
great weather, mid 70s, clear skies, beautiful. I can see why people love Texas.
Yeah.
But yeah, this watch, and believe it or not, you know, there was actually people. I was when I was in Hublot. I mean, they're very friendly people. They gave me a 2024 their Hublot book or whatever you call it. You know,
Okay.
the guy's very friendly, very knowledgeable about Hublot and all the stuff. And there's actually people in there looking, which I was like kind of shocked. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them were buying anything, but they were actually there was like one salesman, there was like 4 or 5 people in there and a security guard, obviously. And but overall, I was kind of surprised that they had that many people at that time just looking through and trying on watches.
That's crazy.
Yep, but this is the one I tried on. It fit real good on the wrist. It looked nice, but at 34,000 dollars, it's just crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I would be thinking about something like this maybe at like 12, maybe 13, but 33, don't
And
think
it's
so.
a lot.
Yeah. When you think, Lucha, like you take this home and you try to resell it, you're probably lucky if you get 13, right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
You'll be lucky.
Ryan says Hugo at retail is the same as pain free.
Oh, oh, oh,
Yeah.
God, Brian. Oh, my God. He's in rare form today.
It's hard today.
Yep. But,
Yeah, because
anyways,
when I think of Hublot, I I think of the round pieces. Where you know, I normally
like,
think of like
uh,
the classic fusion or the
well,
Big
Mark,
Bang.
you can walk into Ublo and you have RM at your side. You have Urwerk. You've got,
Yeah,
uh, AP. You've got Bell and Ross. You name it, they have
yeah.
it. Whatever suits your flavor.
Whatever you like.
Yep. And look at that one down there. Doesn't that look like an Explorer?
Oh yeah,
Right?
it was
Or
just
God forbid, an IWC.
oh yeah, it's a kind of
Right?
little aqua timer vibes there. So
Right. Right.
you know I love
Correct.
the aqua timer. Will you be tuning in when I do my unboxing this week?
Oh God. That's that'll be the day when if it's another IWC, it's the day I end my subscription. But yeah, I tried this on. Actually, the bracelet's not too bad. The
Yeah.
integrated bracelet, it's not bad.
No, I
But I
thought
think it's like what 13,000 or something.
13-1. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad. But like I said, you can get
You get an
this
awful lot of
for
watches for
oh
13 and
yeah,
Art
yeah.
of Hugo. What are they the artificial? Let's see their movements, unique automatic chronograph, unparalleled Mecha 10 Tourbillon,
Yeah.
M11.
They had a couple of the sapphire ones, the sapphire crystal ones.
Oh yeah,
I tried those on. Those were pretty nice actually, but the price is crazy. And
yeah.
then they had that one right there, the lower
Oh,
right one with
oh,
the rainbow with the
the
rose
rainbow.
gold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You want do you even want to know how much that costs?
How much does that cost, George?
It was almost $100,000.
Jeez, oh Pete, for a Hublot,
Yeah, yeah.
that just is crazy to me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
You want to click it? Let's click it and see. Oh, you did you?
I did,
They
yeah.
don't tell you the price, but yeah, it
They
was
don't
about 100. It was about 90 something.
even give you really a picture of it. There's,
Yeah. Yeah, they had that there in encased glass encased shelf because
Yeah.
yeah.
We weren't allowed to go look at that one.
Well, I could have, but I saw the price written next to it. The tag was sticking out, so I'm like, I ain't
Yeah.
touching that.
Let's see the novelties.
Yeah,
Ugh,
they had the I think they had the pink one there, if I'm not mistaken,
this
the far right, the violet. Yeah, that one there. I think they had that there.
121 grand.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, that's a little expensive.
For an ugly watch.
Yeah, and I like you look at these watches when you see them in person, you're like, who in their right mind is buying this?
Yeah.
You know
And then you think, well, Brian, watch it's Brian wants
exactly.
one. So yeah.
I think the deciding factor for Brian is when he picks up the watch and he sniffs it, and if it smells of tobacco, it's a keeper.
It's a keeper. There you go. Well, I can assure you I will not be unboxing a Hublot.
Oh yeah. You know what though? I'll tell you something interesting. It's like kind of now that I'm back home and and I'm looking at all this, I'm like, okay, maybe Brian is right. Maybe like for the right price, it's not as bad of a watch.
Yeah.
But again, it all depends on the price.
We would have to get a deal on that thing.
Oh, you'd have to get a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
And the ADs aren't going to discount anything,
Nope.
so why bother? Well, now for the real talking points. How about them Steelers?
Ha, they stink, dude.
Jesus
They so
Christ. I was
they
watching this.
made 3 horrible eggs in a row.
Oh my God. I was watching the Chiefs game and I was
Oh,
like, "Oh my God. They
hey,
should have won that game, but oh well."
this just in. Uh, you might want to cover Travis Kelsey. Just throwing that
Yes,
out. You might want to
exactly.
put somebody on that guy.
Might be a good idea.
You know?
Might be a good idea. Well,
Yeah, that was
the
terrible.
interesting I yesterday I was traveling and I was like kind of tuning in. I missed like the first half of the Chargers game.
Yeah,
And I was always thinking the Chargers will always find a way to blow a game like that because those are the kind of games that they never seem to win. But good for
yeah,
them. Good for Harbaugh.
yeah. It's quite a turnaround
Yeah.
in a year, and in a year when you lost a lot of your weapons.
Oh my gosh. They lost who they lose? Eckler. They lost Keenan
Ooh,
Allen, Mike Williams, right?
Keenan Allen, Austin
Yeah.
Eckler. I think somebody else. I think
Mike
they
Williams.
they had real horrible cap trouble.
Oh yeah. And I mean, basically they're doing this with just basically Lad McConkey.
Yeah, and the
And he
running back out, the Dobbs.
Dobbins
Dobbins.
Dobbins came back yesterday.
Oh, he came back. Okay.
So, yeah. I think they're one of those teams that could lose to any team, but they can also beat any team anywhere, you know?
Mhm.
They're more of a smash mouth, run the ball down your throat, you know? And then, we'll see. But next year, I was looking through like 2025, the salary cap for next
Mhm.
year. I think they're like 70 million under the cap.
Yeah, well, they jettisoned enough
Oh,
people.
yeah.
It hurts you the year that you do it, but
Hmm.
that's why I was really. I think we talked at the beginning of the year. I said I think they're going to be a lot better this year, but next year will be the year they make the
Yeah.
playoffs. Well, they're they're much better defensively than I thought they would be.
Well, I think what happened was is the defense, they got Bosa back. And he's
Yeah,
actually playing pretty well.
he's
Him and
actually
Mac are actually playing pretty well.
yeah.
And then, oh gosh, who's their safety? They're really good.
Um,
Oh God,
I was working yesterday when that game was on.
yeah, I forgot the name of their safety, but he's just a stud.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find. But anyways, James, Derwin
Oh,
James.
Sherman James.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was an
Jer-
interesting season. Should be fun. I'm hoping that they get they well, no, wait a minute. The Steelers won the division, right?
no.
No, they haven't. Okay.
They need help and a
Okay.
win in Cincinnati.
So I'm
They
kind of
need to
hoping.
win one of the last 3 games to clinch the division, and they just
No, there's only two. There's only one more game left, isn't it?
no. I mean the 3 games that they just lost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they needed to win one of those. So now they need to beat the Bengals and have the Ravens lose. I think
Well, the Bengals are going to be motivated because there's a chance they win and they might be in.
they might be in.
And is the game at Cincinnati or is it at Pittsburgh?
Good question.
I think it's at Pittsburgh. I think it's at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I believe it is in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
All right.
8-8 Cincinnati at 10-6 Pittsburgh.
So here's the funny line on this game: if the Bengals win
Mm-hmm.
and the Chargers win, the Chargers leap over the Steelers.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I say that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the Chargers will then play at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think everybody knows in the NFL, in the AFC playoffs, if you can avoid Baltimore or Buffalo in the first round, you have a pretty good chance of getting to the second. So
you've got the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Colts, and the Broncos are all still in contention for a playoff spot. Huh.
I watched that Bengals game, and I just think some of these coaches are just like, I just don't get it, what they're trying to do, why they're trying to do. Because if you remember, at the end of the half, or with like 2 minutes left, the Bengals scored. They scored way too early, way too early. Run the damn ball a couple of times, kneel, kick a field goal, and be done with it.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Unless they were playing for more points for some sort of tiebreaker scenario, I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. Kneel down 3 times and kick the ball.
I can honestly tell you, on Thursday night, my family and I watched the Chicago Bears Seattle Seahawks game.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh God, it was the worst game in the NFL I've ever seen.
It was bad.
I've never seen such bad coaching, such bad play calls, bad everything. Everything. There was nothing good about that game other than the fact nothing good. Nothing good. And it just goes to show how incompetent some of these head coaches are in the NFL. You're 4-11. It's 4th and 3 on multiple time, 4th and 5.
Yeah.
And you're punting.
I know.
And if I'm 4-11, I'm going to tell my players we're going all 4 downs, no matter what.
I was kind of surprised with the way that the Bengals offense is, even though to that point it hadn't been a super high scoring game, but it doesn't take much for Burrow, Chase, and Higgins to get down the field. I was kind of surprised the Broncos didn't go for 2.
I was too. I was shocked at that call too. But you know what though? They're playing for a tie.
Yeah.
Because they're
in with a tie.
Yeah. If you end with a tie. And see, another stupid thing the Broncos did, if you remember in overtime, they kept throwing the ball.
Yeah.
With like 2.5 minutes left. I'm like, why are you throwing the ball? Just run the damn ball, take off time, run the clock out. A tie is as good as a win for you. You're in.
We're willing to play for a tie in the
right.
situation, but now overtime you suddenly want to.
That game reminded me a lot of the Staley game against the Raiders when he was the head coach of the Chargers. All he had to do was tie, and the idiot kept going on fourth when it was tied.
That got the Steelers in. He got the Steelers in the playoffs that year.
He was a double agent,
Yeah.
And now you have. I was watching I watched the ending of that of the Chargers game, and you've got like Harbaugh. He's so buttoned up with that team.
Oh yeah.
He would never. It's hard to win an NFL game. And
Yes.
whether you win by 1 point or by 30 points, it's unbelievable. But anyways, we should do the Sunday games. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we haven't because we did them. We did it. Remember, we did a ton of them
Yep.
at one
And I
time.
like and the watch you're showing. I owned one of those years
Yeah,
back.
that's
Beautiful watch.
that's overexcited.
Champagne. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and now gold,
And
gold.
with the new price increases, his prices aren't too bad actually. It's
Yeah.
almost MSRP for this now with taxes and everything.
Yep.
And this is a pretty hard one to get from what I was told.
Yeah. I would imagine. I would imagine. I can honestly say I've never made an inquiry to buy a Daytona.
Hmm.
Well, for myself, I did make an inquiry for my boss once.
You know what I've learned over the weekend? I took two watches with me. I just took the 16508 and the 528. And I
Yeah.
realized over the week when I was visiting my family that I think those are the only two Rolexes I really need.
Ah.
Yeah, I really don't think I need a
Yeah.
day, and I really don't think I need a GMT. I really don't think I need a sub, even though I have one, but I'm just thinking to myself, maybe 2025 might be the year of more consolidation.
Yeah. Yep. That's the road I'm headed on. I'm just like, you know
Yeah,
what? I don't need these watches I don't wear,
exactly. Exactly.
And then if I have to force myself to wear it, do I really want it? Do I really need it?
That's right. That's right.
If I have to make a choice to say, I'm going to wear that today, then I'd rather have two, maybe three watches that I really like.
Right.
That's the
Well,
goal.
let's hit these games, Mark. Let's win some money for the punters out there.
All right. Remember, punters, if you want to win money, take the opposite of my pick.
Hey, I forgot to ask you how your holiday was. I saw some of your
Oh,
posts.
nice.
Yeah.
Real calm, real,
Right.
hung out, made
Any
dinner.
plans? Any plans for your New Year's?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'll probably hang out with Sherman and
Hmm.
I New Year's Eve is a rough night to go out because it's amateur hour and there's all
It
kinds of bad
is. A
drivers
lot of.
on the road
Yep.
and
Oh yeah.
always accidents and DUI checkpoints and
Hmm.
and stuff. I'm just like, I don't need weed.
Yeah. I agree. I've always, as I got older, I just kind of stay at home.
Yeah,
Maybe at the worst, go get dinner and then come home early.
that works. All right, so our first game for the day, the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo -10.
Bills and the points.
Yeah, the Jets stink.
So I was watching the Rams game, and did you see the scenario for the Rams to win the division today?
No.
Okay, so they need to have. Let's go through this. So this is one of the scenarios. They need the
Okay.
Bills to beat the Jets because the Rams beat the Bills, right? So they
Oh,
need. This is scenario number one. So let's
okay.
keep going. As soon as we get to all of them, I'll let you know. So next one.
All right. We got the Raiders at the Saints, Las Vegas
Uh,
2.
yeah, I'll take the Raiders.
I'm going to take the Saints. I don't think anybody's playing for the Raiders. Now we have the Colts at your New York Football Giants, Indianapolis -7.5.
Colts.
Yeah, I would take the Colts as well. The Giants, another miserable team. It's got to kill them to watch Saquon Barkley approaching 2,000 yards rushing.
Well, I think that's the least of their problems.
Well, yeah, but
It's
these
got
are
to hurt that. It's got to hurt them when they have to start Tommy DeVito.
yeah, that too.
Oh God! And you're
And,
paying for what's that guy's name?
Daniel,
Daniel Jones. And he'll
uh,
probably sign with like the Rams or the 49ers or something, and
I
he'll
think
turn into another Sam Darnold.
I think he will be your next year's Jameis
Hmm.
Winston for the Colts or
Yeah,
for the Browns.
yeah.
Then we have the Cowboys at the Eagles. Eagles minus 7.5, but they have a horrible quarterback playing for them. Kenny Pickett will be starting because Jalen Hurts is in concussion protocol.
I'll still take the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Cowboys with the points.
This is at Philly.
Yeah, but Kenny Pickett's he's not good.
Yeah, but CeeDee Lamb is not
even
playing.
The games, even the games he wins though, they're low scoring, tight, last second kind of thing.
Right.
So that's why the 7.5.
Right.
I'm gonna, I think the Eagles will win the game. I just think it will be by like 2.
Next,
Panthers at the Buccaneers. Now this could have some scenarios. In Tampa Bay minus 10.
Oh,
that's a lot.
And the Panthers are playing pretty well. I told you they were my my comeback. How many games have they won? 4?
Yeah, 4-11.
Yeah,
but
this ain't going to be. Yeah, this is going to be Tampa. I agree. This is going to be.
Yeah, I like Tampa here. Titans at the Jags.
In the Who Cares Bowl.
In the Fighting Logan Halls minus 1.
I'll take the Fighting Logan Halls.
Yeah, I think the Logan Halls pick up their 4th win of the year.
Yep.
And then you have the Dolphins at the Browns.
So this is another game for the Rams. So the Rams need the Browns to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So they have to get 3. There was like 4 or 5 games. Of those 5 games, they have to have 3. So this is the second one. They got to have the Browns beat the Dolphins. But I think the Dolphins are going to win this.
Browns, I mean, now you're at the thing with the Browns where every week someone's coming out and saying, well, if I don't see a game, if I don't see a plan for how we're going to get better, maybe I want to leave. And then they just they restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, so he's coming back, because he's still a $73 million cap hit next year, and then it kind of gets cheaper after that. But so you're gonna have him back. He's no good.
No,
he's no good.
Well, I think what happened to him, he just stopped caring once he got the contract. Do you remember there was a defensive lineman that signed with Tennessee?
Hainsworth.
Remember that?
Yep.
Just stopped caring.
There was a running back from the Steelers who had came out of Arkansas. Wore 29. Why can't I think of his name? He had 2 or 3 really good seasons. Signed a contract. Stopped caring. They ended up trading him to Cincinnati, I think, in the division. He just fell off the face of the earth because once he got his money, he was done.
What's the line on that Browns game, by the way? It's in Cleveland. So
it's in Cleveland, Miami minus 3.
I'll take Cleveland actually because I don't think.
And 60. It's saying 60 degrees, which is so it's not going to be a cold weather game.
All right, then I'll take the Dolphins.
Next, the DTR as a quarterback, I don't think is your answer for Cleveland. So, Packers at the Vikings, Minnesota minus 1.
Now, this is another one that if the Vikings beat the Packers, that helps out the Rams, and I'll take the Vikings and the points.
Yeah, the Vikings have been pretty good all year.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what they do with Sam Darnold in the season. I would franchise him.
Me too.
And then see what happens in camp. If it looks like McCarthy's the real deal, trade him. Yeah, but I agree with you. I like Minnesota. And then our final game of the week. Because
no, not yet. We still have one more on Monday.
Oh, we have Monday game. That's right. Falcons, final game of the day. Falcons at the Commanders.
This is another one
Washington
that
minus 3.5.
all right. This is another one that Commanders need to beat the Falcons
I
for
think
the
they will.
Rams to win. Yep. I've got
Yeah.
the Commanders in the points because it means a lot to Washington.
Yeah. I like the Commanders. So we had all those freaking games during the week. Okay.
Monday night is
Lions
Detroit.
at your 49ers. Detroit
And
minus
get this.
3.5.
And all the Rams fans will be rooting for the Niners to beat the
Wow.
Lions, because that's another game. If the Niners beat the Lions, it helps them to win the division. But there's no chance in hell.
Who's playing for the 49ers anymore?
Well, here's the crazy thing, Mike Shanahan. I almost said Mike Shanahan. But anyways, Jesus. Shanahan gave a press conference, right?
Mhm.
Last week. And he said, guess what? You get paid 17 paychecks. So I expect everyone to come out and play their hardest. And I'm thinking to myself, you idiot. You have Dre Greenlaw, who's probably the heart of your defense, and he's coming off of this serious injury, and this is his contract year, and you want him to play? I don't think so. You have Fred Warner, who's probably your second best player on defense, just behind Greenlaw, and you want him to play? And then on top of that, you have these scrubs on the offensive line trying to protect Purdy. Are you an idiot? What are you doing here? The season is over. Play for a high draft pick, and move on, But this guy's going to actually start Purdy with a bunch of backup offensive linemen. What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong there?
And if I was a conspiracy theorist, I'd swear he's trying to get Purdy injured so he could reduce the salary for him,
Yeah. It's possible. We got Muhammad Ali, £5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, Bears for the win always.
Oh, my God. Muhammad, I picked them so many times early in the season, and I got burned every time.
They're terrible.
Terrible team, terrible franchise. I don't know who's worse, the Giants or the Bears.
Yeah.
I can't decide.
Well, let's look at the standings here. So let's try and figure out who are. So the worst team in the East, the New England Patriots, who looked like dog dirt yesterday, at 3-13. The worst team in the North is the Browns at 3-12, and they, like I said, what's scary about the Browns is you have a team now that people are starting to question whether there's a plan in place for them to want to come back.
Right.
That's terrible. Then you have the Jaguars and the Fighting Logan Halls, who are playing today to see who will be the worst team in the AFC South. Two bad teams. Tennessee at least has the excuse of not really having a quarterback. Jacksonville does not have that excuse because they thought they drafted the guy. The Raiders are your worst team in the AFC West at 3-12.
And one common denominator among all these teams, their coaching sucks, and they have no quarterback.
Yes. And you have the Giants at 2-13. They're horrid.
Yep.
The Bears at 4-12. Another horrible team. The Panthers at 4-11, who have actually been surprisingly playing a little better here the last few weeks. And then you have in the West, the Niners at 6-9. George hoping to be 6-10 and draft better.
Yep. Shall we look at next week's next Sunday schedule?
Sure.
Let's get those games because there's probably going to be There's going to be Is there a Thursday night game, Mark?
We don't know because it's all. So you got the Bengals at the Steelers. I actually like the Bengals in that game. I think they have more.
I do too.
Panthers at the Falcons.
I got the Falcons there at home. They're playing. They'll be playing for something even on the last day there.
The Commanders at the Cowboys. I like the
Commanders there.
Chiefs at the Broncos.
Carson Wentz will be the quarterback for the Chiefs.
I actually like the Broncos in that game. Broncos are playing.
Yeah. I think they'll have a little bit of motivation.
Yeah, and they may be playing for something. Vikings at the Lions. That's a flex. These
Oh,
are all flex games. See, they can flex any of these
yeah,
Thursday night
yeah,
games.
right. So
Vikings at Lions. I don't know that
I don't think it would matter.
Yeah. Well,
But
they're
you know
both
the game,
2, so it
the
could be
game.
for the division.
Well, the same thing with the Rams Seahawks.
Yeah. So I kind of I like the Lions in that game. Bears at the Packers. The Bears are going to get destroyed.
Jeez.
Texans at the Titans. The Texans also not
They're
playing
looking, they're looking awful.
really bad. But the Titans quarterback situation is horrible. When Mason Rudolph's your answer, you got issues. I like the Texans. Jaguars at the Colts. I like the Colts.
Colts.
Chargers at the Raiders. Obviously, the Chargers.
Well, depending on if there's anything to play for.
Yeah, but the Raiders
But I
are there.
Yeah.
I'll take in a battle of backups. I will take the better coach.
Yep. Always.
Seahawks at the Rams.
Yep.
That's be for your division. The Rams could win the division. Yeah, you called it at the beginning of the year, and it could come to fruition. I like the Rams. I think they're playing pretty decent, and Seahawks didn't show me much the other night. Bills at the Patriots. Even with nothing to play for, I like the Bills. Dolphins at Jets.
Oh.
Dolphins. They'll be playing to keep the coach's job. Giants at Eagles. The Eagles are going to stomp them, I think.
Yeah.
49ers at the Cardinals.
Who cares?
Yeah, really. I'm gonna take the Cardinals and hope you get a better draft.
Exactly. You have some super chats, Mark. Pull them up.
Oh, well, I gotta go back over to the screen here. Oh, geez, we do. What's more likely, me picking up an Aquanaut or Royal Oak in 2025, or the Bears having a winning record?
Let me answer this for Muhammad.
Yes.
Muhammad, there's a greater chance of you picking up both the Aquanaut and the Royal Oak before the Bears have a winning record.
It's a true story. It's a true story.
Yeah.
We got Sean. Go ahead.
And a Rolex too, Muhammad.
Yeah.
Of your choice.
Yeah, Rolex of your choice.
Yeah.
Sean, good to see you, sir. He says, gentlemen, jumping on for the last Sunday episode of 2024 to wish you and our friends in the chat a wonderful and happy new year. May 2025 exceed all your expectations. Thank you, sir. Hey, you as well.
Same to you, Sean.
Yes. We got Father Artifact. One of my 2 favorite artifacts. In the chat, he says, "Merry Christmas, Lucha, and Merry Christmas to you and yours." And beautiful watch you guys picked up for Mother Artifact.
I missed that episode. What did they get?
It was a day date. I can't remember the dial. That kind of stonish orange dial with the
very nice.
The markers and the Romans. Beautiful watch.
Mm-hmm.
Watch. Deer Artifacts.
Hey,
our Canadian says, "Merry Christmas to Lucha and his loved ones." Cheers to you, sir. Again,
cheers to both of you.
At some point, I'm not sure what channel or where. Have a watch coming. I finalized the deal late Friday night, early Saturday morning. So, the Carnelian dial. That's what it was. Yellow gold Carnelian dial. It's beautiful. Yep. The dial on that thing is magnificent. It's sort of like
I saw. Yes,
the dial
I remember seeing that.
Rising Kaiser. You know what I mean? It's that's what makes that watch.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, we will. But yeah, I will be doing an unboxing. I'm not sure, depending on shipping with the new year. They're gonna size it and ship it to me on Monday. I don't know if it'll be overnight and I'll get it Tuesday, or if I'll have to go to the dealership to pick it up Wednesday, because I normally have stuff shipped to the dealership, because it's just, I don't like to sit on my porch, or there's not always someone here to sign because I work a lot. So I may not have it till Thursday, but at some point this week there will be an unboxing on some watch channel. I have no idea
Okay.
which. Maybe this one. I don't know.
Is it
Uh,
new or used?
it
Pre-owned?
is 8 months old. It's
Oh,
just
so it's
the way
new,
that I like it.
brand
It's
new.
just the way I like to buy them. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? It's like right in my wheelhouse.
mhm,
Um, yeah, I'll go. Sean. Oh, yes. Yes, I do have a new watch coming. Yeah, it's one of the 15 that I've gone over here in the last month that I've said that I really like. That's all I'm
mm.
gonna say. Sean wishes fun artifact. Great to see both the artifacts. Cheers. All right, so we want to look up the carnelian dial on. That would be the Rolex date carnelian. Yeah, here's a good. That one looks like a decent picture. Hold on. There it is.
Oh, yeah. What? That's a beauty.
It's the dial. The dial
Yeah, the
absolutely.
dials always do it. Yep,
I mean, there's certain watches you're like, oh, I like the case, I like the lugs, I like the bracelet. No, this one, all those things are good. It's a day date. It's a great
yep,
watch. You know what I mean?
yep.
But that dial is
That's what
amazing.
makes that watch. It's the dial, the yellow gold and the carnelian.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
just a beauty. I
It
mean,
looks like to me like I don't know if you've ever seen gold melted down, but it forms like a tiger's eye.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it kind of always reminds me of.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a
Uh,
tiger eye. Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's really, really pretty.
It is.
It's just, it's hard to say just how good looking that watch is in reality, and what a pickup.
Yeah, and I believe those are very difficult to
I don't think
source.
these are, yeah, I don't think that's an
No,
easy one.
these stone dials from Rolexes, I think, are probably the most difficult to attain in either the ladies or the
Yeah.
men's.
So I think the that watch is special because it's different. You don't see it every day.
Exactly.
It's just that it, and I believe, if I recall, because I was watching at work, um, listening. I think that Dear Artifacts said that it was an exhibition only piece that they sold them.
Mm,
Pretty sure that was Rough. It's 90% chance it's an Omega. Can we ask questions, Lucha, about your new purchase? 90%.
Roth, ju- Roth, let's just hope you're right and it's not another IWC.
Oh, I mean, there are some deals out there on the Aqua Timers, George.
Oh God.
Hmm. And there's always that Oris that I like.
Oh no.
Ocean Fire Limited Edition. There's the high beat Ultra Cron Longines that I have fallen back in love with. There's the Spirit Zulu Time that I've been missing. There's I can't remember. I've gone over so many here lately that there's just, who knows. There's the new Aqua
Nice.
that I love.
Well, I've got some stuff to get done today, Mark. I came back from a week worth of
Yes,
vacation, so maybe Brian can hop in, or Cowboy
yes.
Dick, or somebody
Well,
come in
thanks
and
for
give you a hand.
all
Yes, thank you
this,
so
and
much for having me on, and
thanks for sharing
wishing
all the
everyone,
barbecue
yeah,
and chicken
yeah,
plays.
wishing everyone in the chat a healthy and happy 2025. And Lucha, are you going to be continuing on in 2025 with your?
Oh yeah, as far as I know,
Good, good.
we'll go
And
until people trouble. Every time I try and quit, they pull me back in, George.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if Brian hops on, it's still worth
Yeah,
listening to.
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So, anyways, good luck with your Steelers. Hopefully,
They
yeah.
stink. Yeah, I
Well, you
wanted
know
them
what
to
though?
stink all year. I really, if you remember at the beginning of the year, I'm like, I hope this
Yeah.
team is trash, gets a quarterback, gets back on track because they got a great defense. They always have a good running game. They've invested in the offensive line. I'm
Yeah.
like, I would just like to see them draft and develop a quarterback, and then they went and had to be halfway good. They were good, actually, really good for a period there, and now they stink when it counts.
But you know what though? I always say this: you never know what happens in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah,
You never know. It could, for all we know, Texans could have a hell of a run left in them, even though they got bombed the
right.
last 2-3 games. You just don't know in the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Oh, it's one game,
Yes.
so you can't. It's not like a drawn out series where
All right.
eventually, normally the better team wins.
Yeah.
It's one game, anything can happen. That's why they say any
All
given
right.
day, I guess.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your Sunday, Mark. Thanks for letting me on.
George, thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure.
Hey, have a great 2025. Take care.
All right.
Bye bye.
Brian wants to know how many crowns and pushers does your incoming watch have? I'm guessing 6. You do know that I love more than one thing. What are you going to say? Crowns, pushers. It's not so much pusher. This one has 2 pushers and a crown, but normally it's extra crowns that I like more than anything. I love, love, love a nice internal rotating bezel watch. We do know that as well. But as Rob C says, I do my Omega catches my fancy. So you never know. You just never know. It will be fun though. I'll love it. I'm thinking the divide on this one will be 60 like it, 40 don't. How's that? For 60% appreciation. Father Artifact can never go wrong with a watch that when you look down on the wrists and it makes you smile. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the Rolex is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a special one. It's a special dial. It helps. It helps. What else is going on out there in the world? Anything? I was going to go over to All Watch News and see if they had anything going on over there while we're having some downtime. Oh, let's see. The artifact says maybe it's a Speedmaster palette. I know. I know Mark was a big fan. I don't like that watch at all. I don't. I just really don't like that watch. And a mega fanboy number 1 here, but geez, oh Pete, not a fan. Not a fan. I would buy a Moonwatch first. But I don't need a Speedmaster because I just got one. But again, my Speedmaster is the super racing because I'm a car guy. I like cars. I'm not a moon guy or a NASA guy. I'm not a disbeliever or a Stanley Kubrick guy. I just, it's nothing like that. I appreciate the accomplishment. It was just the NASA connection, the Moonwatch connection was never anything that made me want to be to own a Speedmaster. So, but I am, however, wearing a Snoopy shirt. Father, in fact, agrees with me. He doesn't like it either. Yeah, there's something not good about it. And I really can't explain what that not good thing is, but I don't know. Let's see. Articles. We've got Cartier Tank Americon. That's a watch I've never cared for. Blanc Pond. Year review, the number 6 story of the week on the wrist, Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. Hmm. Dirty Dozen watches is interpreted by half a dozen affordable microbrands. Let's take a look at that. That sounds kind of interesting. Share that tab. Everyone loves the Dirty Dozen watches. I think if you're going to own the Pilot, you have to have at least 7 other versions of the Speedy before that one. I think that's probably true. I think you need to just be like the guy who says, "I want every Speedmaster." So yeah, I get that. So these are the Dirty Dozen watches as interpreted by half a dozen affordable micro brands from Japan, the United States, Singapore, and South Africa. Now, I will say this: one of the reasons, so among the things I love about, because we always, I always say that I like Omega better than I like Rolex, and people are offended by that. I don't dislike Rolex, but I appreciate Omega better. I love lyre lugs. I love the coaxial escapement movement. I love exhibition case backs. There's a lot of things that I like that I think you get more of from Omega. I like the fact that I can just go buy one without issue, or pretense. I love the variety, you know. I love that Dear Artifact can have a Moonwatch and a 321, and his dad can have the Snoopy, and because they're versions of the Moonwatch that they love, and that I can have a racing chronograph. Those kind of things that you get from Omega. But I will tell you another thing about Omega that you don't get with Rolex. This article reminded me of that. I hadn't really thought about it in a while. It came up a long time ago. Omega was a Dirty Dozen brand. Rolex was not. It says Dirty Dozen were the watches. I don't know if they put it in here. Let's see. Robust, equipped with hacking movements and shockproof acrylic crystals. We mostly think about the dial. Let's see. But they were the brands that they were commissioned by the British military to make watches for the military during World War II. So I think that's kind of a cool legacy that you don't get with Rolex. Oh, you get the Moonwatch legacy. They both kind of share James Bond because the original Bond movies he was wearing a Rolex, even though he's commissioned now to Omega. But so these Dirty Dozen watch brands, so they had the small seconds. They all look very similar. So here's the Ver C3 Dirty Dozen, $254. Several models based on Dirty Dozen watches with either quartz or automatic movements, 36 or 40 millimeters. Yeah, there you go. Not bad. Vario 1945 D12, unmarked. $368. Looks like a 37 millimeter watch. I think a lot of these are 36 and 37s when you see them, when people recreate them. The Draken Iraqi Milspec. Milspec is a title you'll hear a lot when people talk about these types of watches. We may go into the Dirty Dozen here a little bit. The artifact says, if Omega faithfully reissued their version of the Dirty Dozen, I'd be all over it. You need to be a small worsted rat bastard to rock it, though. Yes. But I agree. I might actually go against everything that I stand for and buy one of those as well, dear artifact, because that would be cool as shit. That would be cool as shit. Because I love the Bond watch. I think it's kind of expensive. You have to find a deal on one. But that Seamaster Bond watch has the broad arrow on it, and I'm like, kind of, gives that vibe a little bit. The No Time to Die. But yes, I agree 100%. So here's your Draken at $399. Looks like that one's a 39, 46.5 lug to lug, 12.35 thick. That's a thicky one. Yeah, the Quay. I'm never sure how to pronounce this. Kyoto, Old Smith. So these aren't Dirty Dozen brands, but they're brands that make a watch that looks like the Dirty Dozen watch. So this one's a 35 millimeter. Jeez, teeny tiny. Brasidius DD45, $875. Getting up there in price a little bit on this one. So another 38 millimeter, 11.8 thick, 20 millimeter lugs. Has a 4-Hurst Landeron L24 6UH caliber with a 40-hour power reserve. Here's the Tool Filthy 13 for $899. 38 millimeter watch, but that look of that watch with the small seconds and the field watch look is really cool. Do they have anything that linked all the Dirty Dozen watches? I don't see it in here. Let me take a peek at. Hold on. There is also a watch that I have spoken about many times. In fact, let me pull one. Let me pull up that watch first because I've actually spoken about this watch. If I could ever get my hands on one to see, I guess they have a boutique shop in London, I've been told. But this Vertex M100A, the A is for automatic. I just think that's such a smart looking watch. It's full block loom Arabics. Look at that thing. Beauty, eh? Comes with multiple straps, has a bracelet option. It's just a cool looking watch. Vertex was a Dirty Dozen brand. It's a Phoenix brand brought back by his it would be sacrilege if I bought a small watch. I know, right? I have to go kiss the ring of Teddy Baldessar. I think I get tempted by these micro brand Dirty Dozen reissues more than anything in the market. I always have to hold myself back from buying one. Yeah, this Vertex is not a cheap watch, but it's a cool watch that I've always appreciated since I've seen it. Yeah, 2673 excluding VAT. I believe, let's see, technical details. I think this is a Salida in here, maybe. Yeah, Salida SW260-1, 31 joule, top execution movement, locking crown, 100 meters water resistance. If this was a over $1,500 watch, I would own one because it's cool looking. I don't know if it's worth that kind of money. And I've never been able to even sniff one because it seems like they're all in the UK. But yes, they do have a retail store in London. But yeah, I always thought it was a cool version of a Dirty Dozen watch. But let's go. Let's see. Let's go to our favorite tiny wristed rat bastard, Teddy Baldessar, for his article on the Dirty Dozen, history's most legendary field watches. So, in this picture, so you have your Vertex here on the up left. That's the Phoenix I was just showing. That looks like maybe a CWC. You're a little bit harder to read. This picture's not great. Record. Oh man, this is terrible picture. I need better pictures. I need better pictures. I don't want that. Okay, so here's the Buren. You can see most of these watches look the same because they were mil specs. They're military spec watches, designed to look the same and to have hacking seconds. SEMA, one of my first, two of my first luxury watches. SEMA has pulled out of America, but I had a SEMA Navy Star chronograph diver, and I had a SEMA Charisma, which was very Movado like, kind of very thin, two tone, 18 karat, and stainless steel. It was a cool watch. Eterna, another brand you don't hear a lot about anymore. The dreaded Eternas. Grana. Let's see. Grana is a name you won't find on a watch style these days because in the 1940s, this Grenchen-based watch manufacturer, founded in 1888 by the Swiss Kurth brothers, Adolf and Alfred, became known as Certina. Oh, I didn't know that. So Grana, so Certina, technically a Dirty Dozen watch brand, which I like. The Certina makes really nice entry level, especially dive watches with their DS Action series. And Powermatic 80s in most of them, but they do like a 38 or 39 and a 43 in most of their watches. They're along the lines. It's kind of like European Mito in a lot of ways. You don't see a lot of them in the States. I think Teddy does carry Certina. But yeah, Gégé Lecourt, part of the Dirty Dozen. Lamagna was part of the Dirty Dozen. But again, these are all going to look the same, very similar. Love the cathedral hands on his Longines. Very cool. They have like their own little distinct differences. This would be the IWC version. But, I do love a good IWC. Here's your Omega Mil-Spec Dirty Dozen watch. But I agree with your artifact. If they came out with these, like a faithful reissue of this, that would be cool. Because Omega really doesn't make a field watch. So if they did something, they could do, they love to do multiple sizes and stuff. So they did, two different sizes of this. That would be a great piece. They'd be print money. I mean, just begging me to take my money. Because I guess the closest to something like this you would have is an Aquaterra, but an Aquaterra is much sport dressier than this watch. But that would be sick as hell. The record. And again, when you look, well, that Omega, this record, Record Watch Company was founded in the Swiss Jura Mountains in 1903. It was known as the maker of the popular triangular sector pocket watch for delving more deeply into wristwatches in the early 20th century, including high-end chronographs in the 1930s. After World War II, Record continued making innovative complications like an in-house calendar with moon phase, the data effect. In 1949, Longines absorbed Record brand in the 1960s and it discontinued operations in 1991. Recently, Longines has resurrected the Record style in a series of vintage flavored models under the Longines brand umbrella. They make a really cool chronograph version of a Record. Timor, you see these a lot. These come up in the feeds a lot. They were Dirty Dozen. Vertex. I love the Vertex. So those are your Dirty Dozen watches. What do you guys think? The one you like? I'm going to pull up on a different watch here. So again, I'm going to show this real quick one more time because I actually want to show. Let me see if there's a picture of it. It's got accessories. So I think this thing looks brilliant. on this 3-link bracelet. This is really nice looking watch. I think this is like a 40 or 41 millimeter watch. Let's take a peek. Yeah, 100. 40 millimeter. Yeah. 40 millimeter tribute watch to the Dirty Dozen watch. Hard to beat. Hard to beat. But yeah, so when people talk about Omega and Rolex, one of the things I look at, they always say, "Oh, Rolex did this, Rolex did that." Well, Omega was a Dirty Dozen brand. Rolex was not. Not only did they fail to make the grade with the moon watch, they were not a Dirty Dozen watch. But don't dislike Rolex. Just like Omega better. What are you gonna do? It happens. What was I gonna look up? Oh, I was gonna look up the Longines. Hold on. Did I not show the Teddy article? Oh, jeez. Why is that dumb? Oh no, I did. Yeah, we did. So they make a chronograph that is pretty good looking watch. Yeah, so eat your cookies. Boom. Look at that thing. That's a really nice looking watch for around $3,000. That's one of the tributes to the record design language. The heck was that? Oh, that was that. I'm like, somebody trying to jump on? No. Somebody's trying to make me chat. I don't want to chat right now. But I always thought that was a good looking piece. Yeah. So I didn't realize that the name came from buying out that brand. So I learned something from that tiny wristed rat bastard Teddy Baldassar today. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it possible, you know? But again, I will have something new to show you guys this week. Don't know where, when, or why. I don't know if we'll be doing one of the charity streams, one of the fun streams, maybe a hate channel, maybe my stream. Maybe we'll fundraise for some for the camera and studio on my channel. I don't know. I just don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I mean, it's a nice watch. It's a luxury watch manufacturer. It's all with it's not as expensive as this watch, but it's not a cheap watch either. But it was a great deal. You guys know sometimes I love a great deal, but it could have been a better deal if I had gone with a different one. It was actually 2 months newer as well, but I went with the company that I trusted more. That makes sense. This is not a purchase off an individual. This is a purchase from a company, and I went with the guys that I know that I feel better about. You know, there are just some things that it's better not to mess with. And not having to have it inspected and all that stuff is important. Let's see. 7 of the best mountaineering watches. Jeez, oh, Pete. Sunday Morning Showdown. A look back at our favorite battles of 2024. Huh. Let's see what they were battling about at Fratello. Fratello Talks is a good podcast. If you're ever listening, there's a couple good podcasts. I like Two Broke Watch Snobs, Fratello. Who's the married couple? That, they haven't been doing one as much here lately, but There's a few that I listen to when I'm driving to work here and there to break up my true crime addiction. Because who doesn't love true crime? Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I got some kind of weird. I've been off on these other screens. It looks like the screens are still showing. How many upvotes do we have? Only 15 upvotes. We've had more than 20 people at some points during the chat. We need some upvotes. Your browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. Try sharing your screen again. Restart your browser. Okay, Ralph says we can hear me. Okay. So I'm getting this weird message, and I'm like, well, hopefully I'm just not babbling to myself. That would just make it like every other day. All right, so we wanted to go to Sunday morning showdown, a look back at our favorite battles of 2024. They did the Rolex 1908 versus the Breguet Classique 5157. And they're showing a Formex. Oh, there's a Breguet. I love Formex. The Formex Reef 39.5 versus the Seiko Prospex Marine Master. So let's see. Breguet one was 71% of the vote. Dang. A lot of Breguet fans out there. It looks like the Formex one there. The Paget Polo 79 versus the Vacheron. I hope the Vacheron won. Vacheron took the win 74%. Omega Seamaster Diver 300M versus the Rolex Submariner Date. I'm sure the Rolex won. Very close battle though, 51 to 49%. I think that if you're gonna look at, I would look at the maybe a Planet Ocean versus Submariner. Speedmaster Moonwatch White versus Black Dial. I like the white dial, but the black is really traditional and classic. I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind either one of them. Black one 5347. Sounds like a presidential election. Yachtmaster Titanium versus the 50 Fathoms. Jeez. Yellow Rolex Law to the 50 Fathoms. Tudor Black Bay Master Chronometer versus the Submariner No Date. Let's see. Rolex 1 5842. That makes sense. Tag Heuer Formula One Kith versus the Swatch Speedmaster Moon Swatch. Looks like they got a Snoopy edition there. And some bad things. Yeah, I like this watch. I think that was a great release. The two monopusser. Like Diego's vintage that he picked up. It's just a good looking, different watch. Would you guys agree? Can you hear me? Let me check, make sure you guys can still hear me. Because nobody's chatting. We've got nothing going on in the chat. It's eerie. But the Tortue Monopusser versus the Parmigiani Flore Toric Chronograph. Hopefully the Tortue won this one. Let's see. The Tortue 69%. Yeah. Marine Master versus an Aquas Date. That's a pretty good battle. Watches that are fairly similarly priced. And two very loyal camps of people. Seiko won handily. 65-35. Yeah, for Gay Classic versus the Long A 1. Long A 75-25. Omega Seamaster Diver 300M versus the Rolex Submariner 124060. Why would we do that again? These are the no date versions. Yeah, Rolex won that one. Oh, there's that terrible looking watch. The Speedmaster Pilot flight qualified. Do not like that watch. Versus the Zenith Pilot Big Date Flyback. I really don't like that watch either. 70% to the Speedy. Meh. That wasn't the greatest article. Not the greatest competitions. Orko says, sorry, Lucha stepped away to do some things around the house. That's cool. Just want to make sure people are out there. Beautiful design, says Meeple. Which one, Meeple? Probably that Lange. That's gorgeous. That's the one I would imagine that we are speaking about. What are your thoughts about the Seawolf of Richard Perret? Well, let's look one up. I'm not 100% sure I know what this watch is. Richard Perret, Seawolf. Richard. I'm not sure I am 100% familiar with this watch. So let's see what we can learn. Oh, that's good looking. Kind of reminds me of the titanium Yachtmaster. Is that it? Get on the waiting list? Let me see if I can find a better article. Hold on. This looks like a better page. Okay, let's see. This one looks like a deep sea. Has a reverse blue black of the deep sea. That's an awful lot of writing on that one. I'm not sure I care for that. Huh. Let's see what this is. Yeah, I don't like that big major at the top. It doesn't look like a bad watch. I've actually never seen one of these before. Do you own one of these, Ralph? Good morning, Johnson, EDC. How's everything in the great state of Idaho? Remember, guys, to hit that upvote button. We are lagging today at 18 upvotes. Languishing in the upvote world. Nobody is interested. Yeah, it's kind of cool looking. The top, I like everything except for that major and that crown logo. It's not that I mind the logo. I just wish it was a little bit smaller, and that major underneath it is really 10 pieces a year only. $12.95 and free £12.95 and free postage. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a bad price. Huh. Yeah, I'd never heard of them before. Let's go to their Instagram. See what we got over there. Here's a big picture of the dial or a video. Yeah, that's a lot at the top. It's a lot at the top of that dial. But hey, the heart wants what the heart wants. Ralph says Rich Pred is a very famous watchmaker in the UK. Very cool. Yeah, I like the design. I'm not crazy about that the size of the crown logo and that where it says major. I love the rest of it. Like it's pretty smart looking. Hmm. Is there any way to get to? Let's go here. Here's a better picture. Yeah, it gives off some titanium yachtmaster vibes with the bezel. Obviously, the indices are very Rolex like. The Cyclops very Rolex like. Only 60 meters. Hmm. For a dive watch, it doesn't seem like a lot. But it's kind of cool. Cool that he makes a limited number of them every year. So it's not something you're going to find out in the world very often. What do you guys think? Really, there is a new Grand Seiko out. Let's take a look at this. Since I admitted to liking one Grand Seiko, I guess I'm now I must look at them. The SBGJ 283G, lustrous off-white dial that mimics the washy texture, complemented by a red GMT hand representing the red fruit of the kozo tree. Ever brilliant steel, 40 millimeters, 14 thick. It's the high beat, not the spring drive. And you can't make it big. Does it have a big picture of the watch then if you can't make this picture big? You would think that would be smart, but hey, what are you gonna do? Who am I to complain? I really don't like Grand Seiko that much. It looks like a pre-cooked casserole where you see all the ingredients. I like it. Like it a lot. We are up to 20 upvotes now. Thanks, guys. Like to get 30, but hey, beggars can't be the choosers. 2 hours in, we did have George on for football picks. Anybody tuning in late, we'll give you a recap of the day's events. We started obviously with breakfast. That was a hot honey ham, hash and eggs. Delicious. No complaints. We also we reviewed some 2024 Lucha watches. The JLC, Seamaster, CK859. There's the old Iron Man doing some work. Aquaterra, more G-Shocks. The Defy Skyline. The Legend Diver. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Also had Christmas dinner on display. The Christmas table. A little scotch. Pre-dinner Christmas table. The prep. Christmas Eve scampi. That's probably about it. Croissant. That's going back to last week. There's that stuff. I also let it be known that I'm not sure if it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday that I get it. I'm not sure what channel I am going to unbox on, but there is a watch coming my way. After a few weeks of going back and forth on some stuff, almost buying a couple things, going back circles here or there. It's one of the 15 watches I've talked about really liking here on the channel lately. Shouldn't be that hard to guess, but we'll do an unboxing somewhere, whether it be on my channel, Colony, OC, Diego, Hate Stream. We'll head over to JJ's to see if they have like an unbox. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no earthly clue. It would be like if it was a charity unboxing, it would probably be a pre because it's not a 10,000 and up watch. It's not as expensive as this watch, but it was expensive, but retail price on it's pretty expensive. But we shall see. We shall see. None of them are cheap. Even the cheap ones aren't cheap these days. You know? I don't know. What else you guys got? What do you guys think of gray dial watches? Time and Tide has an article saying the 6 best gray dial watches, highlighting an underrated color choice. The one on the top left, I have owned. It's tiny. Does not measure to even what it says it measures to. That was the Rosso Grigio. Reference 1085A. Really cool Mecha Quartz watch. I think it's around $600. I bought it directly off of them. And yeah, 620 US. I bought it when it first came out. I thought it was kind of cool looking. The Mecha Quartz. I always love a good Mecha Quartz for a cheap watch. I just think it's a great movement. And yeah, Rosso Grigio was cool. The Nomos Club Sport Neomatic Smoke. We just talked about Nomos a couple weeks ago. This is one of the watches that maybe I bought. You don't know. I love this Neomatic Sport. Now, in the 42, I believe it's black or blue. You can't get the smoke, but very cool. The Tudor Black Bay 58925. That's the silver one, I believe. Yeah, solid silver case. Kind of a cool looking watch with the gray dial. The Chopard Alpine Eagle. I'm not crazy about that dial. I agree with the time teller. It says it kind of has a butthole effect to it. I love these Parmigiani Fleury Tondas. I think those are really cool looking watch. This is the minute repeater, but they also make a GMT that's really a handsome piece. The Odysseus in gray. That's a pricey watch. 56.5 at retail. Timeless pick would be the Grand Seiko SBG V245 grade beast. Those are interesting lugs. Not sure I'm crazy about them. And again, the Grand Seiko stuff is all about the dial and the finishing, obviously. Let's see what their favorite watches of 2024 were. The Breitling Endurance Pro 38. Are you kidding me? The Breitling Aerospace B70 Orbiter. These all Breitlings? The Breitling Super Chronomat B01 in 44 millimeter in titanium. I think that's kind of expensive watch for what it is. Yeah, 10.9 for a Breitling. No, thanks. No, thank you. The Chronomat Victoria Beckham. Nope. 140th anniversary perpetual calendar chronograph trio. Wow. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. There's the 57 collection. With Speedmaster, Railmaster, and Seamaster. The launches, the launch pieces. Brian would hate them all because they have broad arrow hour hand, but not a broad arrow minute hand. He hates that. It's a good article for Deer Artifact. He would love a Moonwatch article. There's the 57, the new 57. That's a nice watch. Try that on a number of times. Not quite big enough. It's not quite automatic enough, but not bad. That looks like all from our friends at Time and Tide. I might be interested in. Let's see. Dinky Radio. Sometimes they have that girl, and I can't remember her name. It's like Malika or something. And she talks soft fag. You know? I wonder what her real voice is actually like. I don't think that's it. I don't think they will really talk like that. So a lot of retrospectives. My year in watches. Our favorite sport watches of 2024 from Hodinky and James Stacy. Top 10 watches of 2024. And 24 was a interesting, but not, nothing super, not a great year. The Lumen Honey Gold. The De Bethune DB kind of grand complication. That's a beautiful watch. De Bethunes are beautiful cases. They do really nice dial work. Grand Seiko High Beat Genby Valley. Sometimes I think Grand Seiko needs to find a watch, push it, advertise the crap out of it, and just not keep coming out with new versions of stuff. H. Moser, HYT T1 series. That's a cool looking watch. Not bad looking at all, actually. The IWC Portugueser Eternal Calendar. That got a lot of buzz and play at the beginning of the year. And Watches and Wonders. JJ Lecoute, Duometra, Electron Turbo and Perpetual. Nice. MBNF LM Sequential Flyback. That's a lot going on there. There's a lot. There's a Parmigiani. It's not the one that I like, but nice. Vacheron Overseas Dual Time Sunburst Green. Just a color variant. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So, what do you guys think? We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. We've still got 14 loyal followers watching the stream. A lot going on this week. We shall see. We shall see. Well, good morning, Captain. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Luca.
What's happening?
Not much. I saw I'm on the clock. There was you had a countdown going. I said I'm going to jump on. I got to wish Luca in virtual person a happy New Year's to you,
Well,
everyone in the chat, George V, Sean specifically, Mohammed, the artifacts, and anyone else I may have missed. Happy New Year's.
Happy
And
to you, sir.
best of luck in 2025.
2025 should be a good year.
I think so. I'm excited. I'm optimistic. I'm always remain optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be starting it off with a new watch here soon.
I heard. I'm not going to do any lobbying, by the way, on behalf of the emissary to the JJ Watch Hangout. But obviously, I would love to see that unboxing, and I will see it no matter where you do it.
Maybe I'll reach out to JJ. I've never really been on his panel.
Hey, either way, come on the panel anyway. Join us. Yeah. Pre-unboxing, post-unboxing. Love to have your perspective and thoughts and
appreciate it.
Charm.
I don't know about charm.
I added that one at the very end.
My ex-wife would beg to differ.
Hey, not in the beginning.
At first, yeah.
You did something right.
Must have had some charm involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were talking real quick. I almost hopped on when you mentioned the gray dials, and I don't know if you just kind of glossed over that a little bit. Because it's interesting. I've been looking at gray dials. I don't know if I'm going to get one, like gray and or slate.
Okay.
And I think that watches always appeal to me for folks if they want, let's say they want to get a Rolex, as people do, as their one and done or one and only, or Omega. I love Omega too.
Yeah.
The Oyster Perpetual slate.
The dial. 39 or the 39. That is a great watch. Let me pull one of those up.
I think that's a great watch because right before I came on, I was flipping through some of these, dealer sites, and I saw a Datejust, which I've never had. I've never owned a Datejust, and they had one. They have one in the gray dial. That looks like the grape. That one.
Oh, okay.
Well, it may not be. I don't know because I'm seeing that little blue. See those highlights by the 5-minute markers.
I love
the hour markers.
I love the single. The 369 with the single block, and that little pop of color that these had on them outside of the hour markers. So that was a really good looking watch. Let me see if I can find a better.
I just think that slate and gray, because black goes with everything, but I think so does slate.
Yeah. Let's try this one. This is definitely slate gray.
That is slate. No doubt.
No doubt on that one. That's a beautiful watch. There's no doubt about it. I miss the little bit of color, just enough to give it a different highlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it pops. It pops a little bit. And it's not just monochrome. It's got that little added touch. I don't know if they've always keep that little pop of color on there. This is the 114300.
Yeah, I think all of these had some color outside of the hour markers.
I think you're right. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right.
But they were nice looking. That single bar was nice looking. It was a very simple watch. I've always said, and Buckley said this the other day on one of the streams, and I tend to agree with him that that some of your entry level Rolexes are your best Rolexes because they're very simple and they're just beautifully crafted.
I agree. Yeah, like the Explorer, the Explorer 40, I think is a nice size piece. Very simple, gets the job done.
Yep.
It's going to be lighter than a sub and or a GMT. These Oyster Perpetuals, they're wearable, in any occasion, anytime. You just pop it on a weekend watch. I don't know if you know much about Porsche design, those watches, those chronographs that they have, the chronograph ones.
Doesn't Higgins has one of those, doesn't he?
He does. And Higgins is all about the Porsche design. I think he knows every model and iteration that they've made from the beginning, which shouldn't surprise anybody. But he's a fountain of knowledge, that guy. Um,
He popped on here once and was talking about them.
well, I ended up getting the homage by a guy by the name of Dan Henry.
Oh yeah, I love Dan Henry watches.
Right. So I picked up just to get the feel of the watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was a $500 quartz chronograph one based upon the Porsche design. It was, basically a copy, a replica, whatever you want to call it. And I've been wearing that. Like on Saturdays, I reach for it.
Is that this one?
This is the one, the Maverick. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I wore it yesterday. I mean, it's certainly the price is right. It's quartz, so you don't have to worry about setting it or keeping the right time. And it looks like, yeah. But what I was thinking about, Mark, I'm like, if I wear this watch, this is kind of the weekend now beater, if you will.
Okay.
Given we're in the hobby, we're pretty deep into the hobby.
Yeah.
You could get some of the older models.
Uh-huh.
They made them, I think they're PVD coated.
Yes.
But the coating kind of wears off, so it's hard to find a good example unless you refurbish it, which I heard you can do. You could send it somewhere, but they're in the, let's say, $3,000 to $4,000 range.
Okay.
And then Hodinkee came out with one last year, one of their limited editions for to 300 pieces, but I think it was $9,600. So there's like a wide gap between 500 for a quartz homage, and 9,000 or 10,000 for the newer Porsche design and or the Hodinkee collab model. So I don't know, since I wear it all the time, I'm thinking get a mechanical one, but I love the titanium as well. And the older ones are steel. So I don't know.
They're cool watches. I have a quartz beater. It's the VHP. The Longines.
Oh, the Longines. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
nice.
That's my quartz beater, and it's got a perpetual calendar in it. How do you beat that? It's accurate to 5 seconds a year. I really like this watch.
It's tough to beat.
Yeah.
Oh, Longines is phenomenal for the price.
And then the rubber strap is really nice on it, and the clasp is really nice on it too.
That probably doesn't wear too heavy too with the rubber strap.
It wears good, it looks nice, and it's a great beater watch. And
I love it.
I think retail, when they don't make them anymore, they stopped the production a couple years ago. I think retail was around $1,100 on this watch. I picked this up for $420, brand new, old stock.
Nice.
It's hard, I mean, where are you going?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, you could. Yeah. I mean, that's what's interesting about the hobby is you could. I mean, I could literally sell everything. Start over at a lower price point and say, okay.
Yeah.
Now let me get the Longines. I'm done with all the AP, Patek, and all that stuff, and let me go the other way and build a collection that I'm going to enjoy for all in $10,000 or something. And you're. Yeah, so you may have quartz in there as well, but you'll get some good pieces.
I owned this watch, this Dan Henry.
Oh wow!
Sold it to a friend of mine who really liked it, but it was a nice watch for what it was. It's not trying to be anything, It's more the look, and I guess Dan Henry has an amazing watch collection. That's what I heard.
That's what I heard. Yeah, he basically he's collected for probably decades, and then he said, let me try to bring these unique pieces that I own to the masses at a much lower. Let me bring the icons to the masses at a much lower price point.
Yeah, and I've always appreciated these compressor style looking divers that he does.
Now these are it says automatic, so I assume
these are automatics. These are. What's the price point on these? $310.
Jesus.
Honestly, I know, right? But you can watches like these are great if you want to experiment with something. If there's something you're not sure of, or there's size, I mean, they're perfect for that kind of thing. Or if you're just looking for a beater watch, I mean, it's hard to beat these things. And they were like, I remember when I ordered mine, I had it quick. I don't know what your experience was like, but it was not, because he's out of South America, right?
Mine, I think, I'm not sure, but mine I think was shipped from China or Hong Kong or something like that, from what I recall. But it was no, it was very easy. I got it within a couple of days at most.
I was going to say it was less than a week, I think, and I had
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It was less than a week. Everything came perfect. There was
Yeah.
no issues. And now I know that I think TGV once he talked about getting one, and he had an experience where I think the second hand wasn't up on the reset. It may have been off, and but I guess he spoke to Dan directly. I heard the customer service was, was excellent, and he said this publicly on his stream that he had to, I think, send it back. I have not had that issue at all. I didn't have that problem, but I think they're great. I mean,
Yeah, I think they do a nice job for the money. They're hard to beat.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and so now I have a dilemma.
Uh-oh.
Going back to the football discussion you had with George earlier, and so as you may or may not know, I am a recovering former Jets fan. As of like week 5 or 6, I don't know when the wheels fell off. Probably around there when they fired their coach and then the GM, and they became the
I think the wheels fell off in the Richard Todd era.
I remember that. You just I'm old enough to remember Richard Todd. I was a kid, but I do remember Richard Todd and the Miami Bowl. Remember the Mud Bowl?
Oh yeah.
Nice pick that he threw to, I think, who's that, Huey or something?
Yeah.
Unreal. That's a terrible memory. I'm trying to
get rid of that one.
I'm trying to get rid of that. So, I don't know. I think I said on your show, that I was considering the Steelers.
Yes.
Who I loved with the Swan and Starworth and Bradshaw and Frank O'Hara. How could you not love Lambert? The list goes on and on. The whole team is in the Hall of Fame. But now you just told me, and I wasn't aware the last few weeks, that they're on this losing streak.
3 games in 11 days they lost, and they weren't competitive.
Well, three, as you said earlier, 3 games in 11 days is absurd. That scheduling is ridiculous. That makes no sense for NFL professional athletes to have to play 3 games in 11 days. It's actually unhealthy, right? It's actually a risk to their health.
Yeah, it's for a league that's trying to be more risk averse, that is not helping.
So did they clinch a playoff spot, or do they have to still win?
They have clinched a playoff spot.
Okay.
Still have like an outside chance at the division if I'm not even sure what all the scenarios are.
Yeah.
But they've been playing so poorly that it's like deflating the bubble. But I really, at the beginning of the year, I really wanted them to stink this year. I really wanted them to, they never draft high because the Steelers are never bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's this. I mean, what Tom won 18 years in a row. He's never had a losing season.
That's unbelievable. Whereas the Jets, I don't think they've had a winning season. They haven't been in the playoffs in 13 years or more. Like the longest. I think it's the longest streak in the league right now. So that's the kind of team I want to root for.
Yeah.
Except 3-game losing streaks going into the playoffs.
Yeah. So they got the Bengals next week. We'll see what they look like there. And
I like the Bengals too. And what's crazy? I think the Bengals have been on a winning streak.
They've gotten a little bit hot. Well, they're off. Joe Burrow's having.
Love Burrow.
He had a better record. He's your MVP.
I agree.
He's having a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Your defense stinks.
Awful.
I haven't. They're just terrible.
Awful. I mean, if you saw the game last night, I was watching the end, and then the terrible clock management at the end for the Bengals. And I don't agree with kicking a field goal there because field goals are always a little risky, but they could have burned, if they just burned a little more time off the clock, like you guys said, and kneeled one play, let's say, and then try to punch it in. So you get the guaranteed touchdown, and now it's 7. So you make them drive the entire field for for a tying touchdown, which they ultimately did.
Right.
And then who's that young guy, the quarterback for, was it the Broncos?
Knicks.
Bo Nix. Yeah. He threw that ball. I mean, that was an incredible throw as he was scrambling, but the defense was horrendous. They had that guy sandwiched.
Yeah.
Two guys.
That's been
on
there.
him. So I don't know how you come down with that catch when you have two defenders
No.
all over you, but that would never have happened if they burned, 10 more seconds or 30 more seconds. They had no time left.
And Cincinnati started their year losing to the Patriots.
That's sad.
Yeah.
They deserve to be in the playoffs, but I think they need help. They need 2 or 3 teams to lose, and then they have to beat Pittsburgh.
Right. They got a whole bunch of stuff that needs to happen. And part of the problem with the Bengals, and if you're a Bengals fan or looking at them from as a division rival, is the ownership. So you're gonna have you have to sign Chase and Higgins.
Yes.
Will they sign them? Will they sign one? Will they sign both?
Mm-hmm.
If you sign them, what do you have left to pay? You need to upgrade your defense.
Yep. Yeah, you do. They're in a dilemma because they obviously, I don't know if they've paid Burrow, but they're going to pay Burrow whatever he wants. And yeah, I love him. And what's great about rooting for a team that has a young star, top tier quarterback, and he's top 5. I think he's top 3.
Yeah.
If not the best quarterback in the league right now. It's debatable, but he's one of.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a quarterback, but remember Matt Stafford, didn't they have terrible years with the Lions, and they had Stafford for 10 years plus?
100%. You have to have a team around him, and showed he went to the Rams and won it right away.
Exactly. Yeah. So what are we looking at? Back to the watch game.
Some of the watches from the Lucha 2024 collection.
Okay. Oh, so this is your retrospective.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a nice Tudor Burgundy.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a Pilot, Aquaterra, El Primero. That's the 2 register. Which one? The Racing Omega.
Racing. Yeah.
Super Racing. There's another Omega. That's a nice one. That's the Sector.
Yeah.
That's the Jaeger Cultra. Which one is that? The Control.
Polaris. No, it's the Polaris.
Polaris. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Through a little bit.
Nice. Can't go wrong with the G-Shock.
Nah, G-Shocks are hard to beat for yard work and stuff. But like I said, I got something coming this week, and then we'll find out how everybody feels about the choice that I made.
As long as it's not a Zenith, I think George will be happy.
Yeah. No, an IWC. He hates the IWC.
Oh, IWC. My bad.
Hates the IWCs. He knows, and everyone knows that I love the Big Pilot 43 and the Aqua Timer.
I like the Big Pilot. I'm trying to visualize the Aqua Timer. I was at IWC and they threw all these watches in my face. I'm looking at Portuguesers. I was looking at the I think it was a perpetual calendar Portugueser. The engineers, they were really hot to sell an engineer.
Oh yeah.
They really wanted me to take one of those off their hands.
I believe that.
And they've come down in price in the secondary considerably.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up an Aqua Timer here for you to see. Let's see, maybe. Oh, it's a chronograph. That's not the one. Oh no, that is. That's chronograph, but it is not. Hold on.
Here it is.
That's the Aqua Timer.
Okay.
Simple 3-hander. I think it says chronograph 44, which the chronograph is a 44. This is a 42. in the three-hander.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm missing the chronograph. I'm not seeing pushers.
And it's got that interesting way that you can rotate that bezel and
Mhm.
it ratchets the internal bezel because the bezel is actually internal on it, the dive scale.
So it's like that AP. It's like the way AP does their diver, which
Yeah.
is internal.
Yep.
The little water or something. At least this is symmetrical. It's balanced, so they have them.
Well, that's not a crown on the left-hand side. That's actually the mechanism for I think they call it the safe dive system. So you actually rotate the actual bezel of the watch. You can ratchet it.
Oh, you rotate the bezel of. Okay.
Yeah, that whole metal piece ratchets
Mhm.
to move the bezels actually underneath the glass.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see that.
I always thought it was a cool watch.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's only good on the strap. The bracelet stinks on it. It's really ugly on the bracelet.
Yeah, it looks pretty good on the strap. I agree. Yeah, I like it.
But
I don't think I would buy it, but it's not bad.
yeah, nobody would buy it. Everyone.
Yeah, no.
I'm the only person that would consider that watch. I think.
That's the polite way. It's your show, so I have to be respectful, Mark. But there's no way in hell I'm buying that watch.
The other one.
No disrespect to IWC at all.
George hates IWC. They treated him poorly at AD. Is what started.
Yeah, that's the kiss of death. I've heard that he's not the only one that.
Yeah.
If the person, and I don't want to mention names, but I know someone who hates numerous brands because of the way that they were treated.
Yeah.
At the AD, and I'm questioning myself. I'm like, well, is it the AD or is it you? Because you seem to like get into have run-ins with every single boutique or AD that you visit. So I don't know.
Yeah, I manage a car dealership.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the sales manager at a car dealership, and when I have a salesman who comes in 2 or 3, 4 times in a row and says that his customer is an asshole, I always go to the bathroom and look in the mirror, and they're like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, perhaps if everybody you talk to is an asshole, the asshole is you."
That's right. It's like, what's that line? If you're sitting at a poker table and you don't know who the mark is, it's you.
Yes,
you're the mark.
Exactly. You are the mark.
You are the asshole.
But that's
it's self-reflection, because I get that way. I'm sure you do as well with, customers and or clients in my business.
Yeah.
And, they're pains in the, they're pains in the ass sometimes. And then I think to myself, well, maybe I should change my approach and just be very pleasant and thankful and just change the mindset and try to get into a better frame of mind, and approaching it with, hey, how can we help you? And then you just kind of go on the offense instead of like responding. I don't know. So this is it. Yeah, this is a big crown, man. These are impressive pieces. I must say, I like the crown on these things, the legibility.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of this. Simple 3-hand, big pilot 43.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so it's got the new in-house movement, so they're not using the Solitas anymore, and it's actually decorated really nice. So I love open case back.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, you're spending a lot of money on these things. I like to see what's going on in there, and that I always thought was just a really nice looking movement. It doesn't have to be the greatest, I want a little bit of decoration, some jewels, some, something that just makes it kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the onion crown, and the bracelets that they put on these things are fascinating. They're really easy to size. See these little dots on the push?
Yeah.
There's a little tool. You push that in, and that piece comes out of the bracelet. So for sizing the bracelet, it's real easy to do.
Wow. Okay. And you could pick up that tool and do it yourself. I presumably.
Yeah, come to watch.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's unique because
absolutely.
other than adjustable clasp and the glide locks and
Mhm.
the easy link, that all that nonsense, like an easy link is okay, but it doesn't get you. Sometimes that's not enough.
Right.
And you're going to break out your tool set to kind of futz around with bracelets. Who's got the time or the patience?
I'm always afraid I'm going to scratch it or strip a screw, or I'm just I'm not the best mechanically inclined person. For especially on something small and intricate. I got 7.5-inch wrists and big Opie hands.
Yeah, I'm with you right there.
Yeah.
See, that's why people see they're jealous, Mark, because they can't pull off this 43,
Yeah.
pilot, and so you can, and I can, and so
Exactly.
they're jealous. That's what it is.
It's like this one's a 44.25, and it fits just fine.
Shout out to the big wristed society, but conversely, the small wristed folks, they could pull off a 36 millimeter Patek and get it cheaply.
Or is that
not cheap, but
they could pull off a Daytona.
Yeah.
Daytona looks small on my wrist.
Me too. Me too.
Looks small.
I never had a Daytona. I'm not sure if I ever will have a Daytona. I never got caught up in the hype, and the Speedy fits me perfectly.
Yeah.
So why do I need to go there? I don't.
Nope.
Plus, listen, Rolex, my AD doesn't offer me a thing, so
right.
It's irrelevant.
Speaking of irrelevant, hi Brian.
Watch.
Whoa! What? Irrelevant. Why? Because I only have one crown and not enough pushers for you.
Why do you not have more pushers?
I don't know. Listen, I'm excited to hear the actual captain on and visiting with you. That's exciting. I've got a busy day today, and I just simply stopped by to say Happy New Year to everybody.
Well, Happy New Year.
Be safe.
Happy New Year, Brian.
Take a look this week. I don't know where or when, but there will be an unboxing.
I was listening in the background.
You're gonna hate it, but that's all right.
Oh, I guarantee you I'll hate it because it's got that stupid little pigtailed girl hair logo on it.
There is somebody said there is a 90% chance. I think that was Roth said that there's a 90% chance it'll have that logo.
Yeah, and there's 100% chance that it will as well.
Well, there you go. See, you sound very confident, Brian, that I bought an Omega.
I should sound confident. I have a great radio voice.
I love it.
Not attorney spokesman.
And a great microphone.
Yes. Are we working the monorail today?
We are. Yep. So if you're at Walt Disney World, look for me.
There you go. How was Christmas with the grandchild?
Oh, every package. She loved every package. She wanted to put all the wrapping paper in her mouth.
Oh, yes. Well, it does look tasty.
Yeah. Yep. And it only took, I don't know, 5 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let me tell you. You know how it used to be, you'd call the other family members that were out of town and you'd talk to them for a few minutes and say, Merry Christmas, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now with FaceTime and all the video technology, apparently you have to wait until they're available to open your presents from them in front of them and do all that. So let's just drag this out even freaking longer.
Nice. There you go.
If I send you a present, don't wait to FaceTime with me. Just open it.
Send a video clip.
Yeah.
Of the opening, right? And then you have to pass the phone around to everybody too. Hi, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everyone gets involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Days.
Yeah, it saves on travel though, Brian. Like if you had to visit every one of these folks, you'd be hopping around the country.
I will say relatives are a lot nicer on a 6-inch iPhone screen than they are in person.
Exactly. You could end it, maybe not abruptly, but politely.
Yeah.
Politely.
Oh, sorry, signal's breaking up.
Internet's down. Gotta call Elon Musk. I gotta get Skylink. Bye.
Yeah.
That's been used, I'm sure, on streams from time to time. Not by me, but I've seen it happen more than once.
The guy that's going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency can't get reliable internet to New Jersey.
That's right. Yes, let's cut. Well, I don't want to get into politics.
No. Anyway. Yeah, so I got to run.
Let's cut other government groups by creating another one.
Yeah. I got to run. So happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Be safe. Bye.
Happy, healthy. Bye. See, Brian has a fun gig too with the Disney Disney World stuff. That's just joy every day. It seems like, and he's a big fan, and he's
exactly.
It's just you're seeing people who are happy, right? Because they're not at work, they're enjoying for the most part, on vacation. They're back in their childhood, or the kids are the kids, and the parents or families are kind of reliving that experience.
There should be more happiness in the world,
This is true. 2025, Luca. Yeah. So I have we lost Brian because I would like to have heard his take as well, but I know that you're more of an Omega. Well, you're an Omega fanboy, not really Rolex. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
On Rolex.
Okay.
Hey, Muhammad Ali. Happy New Year.
Good guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Which Rolex do you have a question about?
The Cookie Monster. Which is the white gold, if you don't know it, the white gold sub with the blue bezel.
Yeah. I think it's a good looking piece. And I think part of why I like it is because it's different. Let me pull up a picture of one.
So let me tell you, and maybe this shouldn't play a part in it, but unfortunately, in my mind, the way my mind works, and I look at some things, especially these watches at these high, lofty prices, it does make a difference. And it's really the only reason I'm considering it. So I went to a Rolex. Actually, I went to a which they're an AD of Rolex, Patek, Tudor. They have jewelry and all this kind of stuff. So I went to an event that they held.
Yeah.
And this was about 6 months ago. And I was looking at someone else who had this piece. It wasn't part of what they were showing on an exhibition. So someone else had it. And I think the manager of the store of London Jewelers was there. And he said, "Oh, I can get you. You want this? I can get you this right now." So basically, because we know, or at least I knew, the aftermarket price of this was substantially lower than the retail price, I politely declined. I said, "Yeah, it's not something that I like the piece, but it's not something that I'm looking to purchase." Right.
Okay.
And so, because what Rolex will do is they'll always try to sell you a gold piece that's worth that's 10,000 less in the aftermarket,
exactly.
Expecting that you don't know that or don't care. And with me, that's just not the case, right? So I passed on it. And so this watch is about 43,000 plus retail.
I know it was over 40. I know that they offer it. Almost every AD has. It seems like they have one of these for sale.
Oh yeah. Plus the price increases next year. I think starting January 1. I think this goes up somewhere around 7%. Plus you have tax,
right?
Which you can't count. So in the aftermarket, what I've seen this watch going for, in mint condition, with full sticker, and let's assume that it's it's 100% authentic.
Right.
Let's just assume that.
Yeah.
$30,000.
I was going to say 30 to 35, probably.
30,000.
Wow.
Luca, which is a lot of money. Let's not.
Well, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot less than the retail on it.
Now you have to love the watch, or at least like it enough to be willing to part with a significant sum of money. But If this was 40 at retail, I would not consider this piece.
Yeah.
Where it becomes more compelling or the decision is more difficult is at 30,000. I'd consider that I'm considering it because I know some people in our community who have it. They love it. It's that stealthy thing, right? You could wear this. It's still Rolex. So if you're in London, yeah, they could try to rob you or whatever. And I don't want to use them as one example, but like a crime, people who are looking to snatch Rolexes, yeah, they may, this is a Rolex. They may still try to grab it, but it's so under the radar because it's not like a yellow, it's not a bluesy. It doesn't scream. It's not even a two-tone. So most 95 or 98% of the world is going to look at this watch and say it's steel.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, most people don't know. I like it because it's just a hair different looking with that blue bezel, and although at a distance it's hard to discern white gold from stainless steel, when you see it up close, you can tell.
Yeah,
and then the weight,
Oh, the weight. This is going to be a heavy piece. So I don't know. I go back and forth on it.
I like the watch. I mean, at 30 grand, I don't know that it's going to go down from there, especially with the prices going up already. If they do two price increases this year, you never know. You know what I mean? They could. The value of gold. I don't know. I at 30, I think it's a really compelling piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I think, as you know, Rolex, these ADs, they know that someone will buy this at retail, and that's the person that gets allocated the Daytona,
right,
or some other,
or whatever they're looking for.
Exactly. They want a GRNR, that gray and black GMT. Yeah. They'll get that, right? They want a Pepsi, they'll get the Pepsi. But first, they have to give the dealer something, give the AD, they have to pay retail for this,
right?
Which to me is like it's like 15,000 plus more than you can buy the watch. I don't know why any of us wouldn't buy secondary.
16 grand more.
Yeah. So,
and if you buy it at the right place and they ship it to you, they're not even charge you tax.
Yeah, a lot. You could find a place that will not charge tax.
If Nashville had one and he was sending it, if he's sending it out of state, he doesn't charge you tax on it. Some places do, some places don't.
Yeah, I remember. So when I did my deal a month ago with a European watch company, unless I lived in, where are they? Oh, they're in Boston.
Yeah.
So I would have had to pay tax on mine, but I did a trade where the value of my trade-in was greater than what I got.
Yeah.
So I had no tax. They actually gave me a wire back.
Yeah. I want to answer Watches on Wood here. He says Harrison Elmore reviewed the IWC shown, and he said the case edges were sharp, so he took a sanding pad to the edges. Thought he was exaggerating, but you see scuffs on the case back, and he says, "Do you find the same, Mark? I.e., that they're sharp?" I didn't really feel that, but a lot of people say like the Omegas, especially like Seamasters, oh, it's got sharp edges and stuff. I don't know. That stuff I never really paid attention to. I never really had an issue with any of that. So
yeah, me neither. I don't know if I like the idea of a sanding pad to the edges.
I don't like that idea at all.
I would not want to buy Harrison Elmore, whoever's. I wouldn't want to buy his piece. See, this is what happens to pieces too in the gray market that no one knows, like secondary. You have no idea, because I've heard stories, I'm sure you have, of people telling you, oh yeah, I just took out this tool and I fuddled with it. I got the bracelet off and I did this and they tell me that they use the Cape Cod cloths like regularly.
Oh,
I know. I mean, these are people who have collected for decades, and they're telling. And I've had watches for that long, but
I see the scratch.
I said, "Are you kidding?" And then that watch gets flipped back into the market, and then it goes to somebody else who has no idea that half let's say it's gold, they polished off like a quarter of the gold.
Exactly.
And all the chamfering and beveling is rounded.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
Nope.
Standing pad to the edges. Oof.
Brutal.
Well,
absolutely brutal.
My Omega, which is the Tokyo 2020 releases on my Speedmaster.
Mm-hmm.
It has the Olympic rings on the back of the case.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So that can leave a mark. If you wear that tight enough, I'll have a stamp of the Olympic ring in my wrist.
Stamp of the rings.
By the end of the day. But I knew that going in when I watched a review of it, and someone, when they were mentioning the pluses and minuses. But you could replace the case back with like a solid case back. But when I went to an Omega boutique, they said they couldn't give me or sell me a flat case back for whatever reason. But they said if you went to an AD and not a boutique, I could probably get one, like a size appropriate case back, so that you can kind of save the one that has the ring, the Olympic rings, on the side. Yeah. Who knows?
Here in Pittsburgh, they've closed all the ADs. Opened Watch of Switzerland as their boutique.
Ouch.
You got to go outside the city limits. Let's see. Watch Someone says, I totally agree. My issue is that a lot of watches have shady histories, i.e. their owners washing cash. In my professional capacity, I could risk being connected to money laundering activity. Don't want that.
No.
That's terrible. That's why it's not my gray. Yeah.
Yeah,
I paid a couple $100 more for the watch that I bought because of the company I bought it from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Reputation and just it means a lot, when you're dealing with these things. And I'm not even talking about getting a fake, because a fake you can always send back or whatever. You know what I mean? You can ways to go with that. But I'm talking about something that's been like like you were just talking about. You don't know what somebody's done to it. They scratch the hell out of it with a Cape Cod cloth or whatever, or if it's Harrison Elmore sanding down his edges. I'm not, that's craziness.
Yeah, washing cash. Well, that's interesting because, right, depending upon, if you buy for a reputable dealer and you're paying cash for someone else's watch,
yeah,
the history of that watch, and has it been used to wash cash or some offshore transaction? Who knows? But I found a lot of these newer pieces, right? They don't come with cards. Why?
Yeah.
Where's the card? It's a 2024.
That's the watch I bought is a 2024, and it has a legitimate 2024 card.
Right. There's so many that they didn't lose the card. And I know Joma Shop, they keep the card or whatever. I get it.
Max and Joma Shop, you get their warranty because and I think a lot of that is they don't want a lot of the manufacturers to know that they were buying these watches from ADs.
I think that's part of the that's part of the deal, right? Yeah. When they get rid of these pieces in bulk to Joma, the deal is, okay, you'll keep the card, Joma. You won't give the card to the customer, to the end buyer. But it's a concern. Watches on wood for sure, and you don't want to get caught up in any of that.
No, you got to be careful. I prefer to do business with places that are reputable. A lot of times, if it's attached to a bigger jewelry store, that's always a good thing. What's he saying? I says that serial number can be connected to the previous owner. I don't want to be connected to them. I will say that I'm talking about Rolex and other hype watches, which attract the wrong sorts. Yeah. So what I've been able to find the last few years. So whereas a lot of people complain about what happened with COVID and the restrictions, and I can't buy a Rolex, I can't buy this or that, well, for the watches that I like, IWC, Omega, Zenith, JLC, what I found is I can buy watches that are a few months old, really cheap because somebody bought it for purchase history.
Exactly.
So
yes,
I found that's why I'm always those are the deals I look for.
Mm-hmm. Hey, well, listen, what you just have up on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a perfect example of what you're saying and Watches on Wood is saying.
Yeah.
Because this watch, and I haven't done. I've shied away from doing deals on Motor Group. Because of the risk. I got away with it, I think, on one or two occasions. And then I'm like, what are you doing? Spend the extra money and get the peace of mind, because with serials, there's no way you type in a serial, there's no registry. This goes back to stolen watches. Even though you're paying value for it, if the watch somehow shows up as stolen, it's not even on a registry. How would anyone know it's stolen unless it's actually reported and put on some registry? And I heard there's some European registry that I've never used, but it exists out there. But it still might not tell the whole story. And they don't have cards, but again, it's the balancing of, if you get it for 30. All right, so now you go to a legitimate, let's say you go to European Watch Company, who I respect and I just did a deal with.
Right.
This piece might be 35. Okay, so do you pay 34, 35, or somewhere around there? Maybe they'll give it to you for 33, who knows? Or do you try to save a 3,000 or 4,000 and get it on, one of these other sites that has no warranty, and it's basically a wholesale, quote unquote, dealer to dealer site?
Right.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I think I know where Watches of Wood would say, I'm going to the dealer. I'm going to the authorized dealer and buying new.
Right.
And I mean, that's a fair call.
I get it. It's scary out there. That's why you have to do your due diligence. You have to you're buying the seller as much as you're buying the watch.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why Rolex has the CPO program, A, to capture some of that market for their ADs, and B, because of the rampant fraud or what's that other fraud or authenticity issues and counterfeiting issues. That's the word I was looking for. Counterfeiting.
Fraud, counterfeit. I mean, there's
everything.
A lot. There's a lot. It's you just don't know. You can't tell.
Yeah. So what happens in 2025? What's the prediction for the watch, I guess the watch market as a whole? What's your prediction, Luca?
So I think that they are a year behind the car market. Okay. So what happened last year in the car market was they raised all the prices.
Mm-hmm.
And the interest rates went up. Like, there was all this, it was bad economy plus higher prices. And, because the manufacturers were trying to capture what some of the profits that the dealers had been making during COVID.
Right.
So they jacked everything up. Well, you know what happened I managed a Jeep dealership.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what happened to Jeeps midway through the year? They re-invoiced and re-window stickered them all at lower prices because they weren't moving.
Wow.
Buying it. So I think you're going to find that there are, there is a lot more supply of watches than there has been. And I'm not saying you're getting discounts or anything at the ADs, but I think you're going to find a lot more availability at the ADs.
Yeah.
And you got to see what's going to happen, with the incoming administration and what that's going to do with the economy and stuff. But so you'll still have some of that hype buying, and like your Daytonas and your super hype watches, your Royal Oaks. Yeah, those are going to be hype regardless. That's
yeah.
But your Submariner buyers, your GMT buyers, I think, maybe not a Pepsi, but a Batman or the Bruce Wayne, you know what I mean? Like those are going to be a lot more available. Your Explorers, 40s,
Yeah,
your
definitely.
so I think you're going to see a lot more of those that do not say exhibition only.
Mm-hmm.
In the case, and there's going to be availability on those watches. And what's going to happen is, because the same thing that's happening in the car business now is that you're going to, they're going to have to start moving it. You can't just keep them in the case. And if you don't have the gray market that's willing to pay you all that money now.
Yep.
Oh
yeah. Well, the gray market, even publicly, some of these folks have said how it's been difficult. It's a difficult year. I mean, they try to put on a good face, but they've been saying how liquidity is an issue, and I think we're going to see some brands not doing that well, and more consolidation maybe of brands, or maybe some surprises of brands going out of business or bankruptcy or whatever it may be, because there's so many watches.
Yep.
And what I don't understand, and I'm still not 100% clear on it. Yeah, and this is a good comment, but is if Rolex raises the Oyster Flex prices on Daytonas.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure that they are included, but it does say gold. I think it says gold Daytonas or precious metal Daytonas are going up 14%. Well, I can understand maybe. I really can't understand them doing that on the price of gold, because gold goes up, gold goes down.
Right.
No one knows. Look at what happened. Silver has gone down significantly, I think, in the past few months. But to your point, I think if they're trying to capture, and I think they're trying to capture that spread between the gray market pricing, right? They're like, why can't we get some of that?
Exactly.
Right? I don't care. We're not profit, we're profit. Who knows what they are? They still want to make money.
Well, they did or whatever it was. Yeah.
I mean, there's ways around all these things, but I digress. So they want to make that margin, or they capture it for some of themselves, like they did in your, Jeep dealership. If they raise an Oyster Flex Daytona by 14%, I think the Oyster Flex Daytonas, most of them, maybe not the Pikachu or the so-called Paul Newman dial, they're going to go under retail as well.
Yeah.
But I don't see Rolex ever reducing prices.
No, I don't
see that's a bad look for them, right?
I don't. That would be a very bad look for them. But I do see, what I see is more availability. And to what Watches on Wood is saying, he says he's seen a few YouTubers talking about bottoming out in the watch market and a slight upturn, including Britt Pierce. I think it's just a dead cat bouncing situation. It'll drop another 10% in 2025. I do believe that the market is going to drop, and I believe there's going to be more availability. I just, and again, it just seems like everything I've been watching, it reminds me so much of my business, but it's behind. It's just lagging behind what everything that happened is, like there was a point where a used truck was more expensive than a new truck, because of availability. There is,
yeah.
So, and that's not the case. The market is correcting itself now.
That's right. Used means used. Like there's a depreciation
exactly
for used vehicles. The world was upside down during COVID.
With very few exceptions in the history of watchmaking, most watches depreciate.
That's correct. And all the folks that ran in who were vanished mysteriously, or not surprisingly, how many folks that you no longer know or hear from in our own community, that have just slowly vanished, right?
Yeah.
And these people, I mean, they came in, they did the dealer, they played the AD games to perfection, and they were making. It's funny how that, right? Like people see and they could care less about, watches, horology, or collecting, or hobby, or passion, and they just converge like locusts. And they converge. They drove the prices up. They sucked out as much profit as they could, and played the AD games and went to
Yep.
all the ADs as a job, as a
Mhm.
profession. They're like, I'm taking advantage of this COVID. Like people who got the PPP money, and they took advantage of that situation, and now they're all gone.
There were people doing that with cars. So what people would do is they would lease hybrid Jeeps, okay? Because you were getting a $7,500 rebate applied from the government. And then they would turn around a couple months later and sell it and do it again. And they were making money on these cars.
Yeah.
Doing it that way.
Yeah. People are very creative. Oh, what was that other? Oh, dead cat bounce. Never heard that term.
Yeah, I never heard that one either, but I like it.
So what it is I've heard it many times in my life, in my career. It relates to stocks. So when you have like I'm trying to pick of a dog of a stock that keeps going down. Anything come to mind? What's been a terrible company? And any stock. So it goes down, let's say 20, 30, 40%.
Right.
And then all of a sudden let's say it drops 30%, but then it pops up 5%. They'll call that a dead cat bounce.
Okay.
So the cat, it's like the stock is dead, it's a dead cat, and then it bounces 5%, and then people think, oh, it hit bottom. It's now going to stabilize or go up.
Okay.
And it's like, no, that was just a dead cat bouncing, and it's going to continue to go down. It's still dead, So you have a little dead cat bounce, and then it drops further. And so that's what that means. Bounce up a touch when it hits bottom. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So what? Even a dead cat bounces.
Do not try this at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the car market, Mark, I was looking to possibly sell my. I have a little sports car as a secondary. It's a 911, but it's an older one.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited. It's not a GT3 RS or anything like that. It's a 2005, modestly priced car. I thought I got it like 5 years ago at the lower end of the depreciation curve, have fun with it. And then it went up like everything else during COVID.
Yeah.
I didn't sell it, but recently I wanted to get a quote, just because it took up space and, insurance. It's just it's not a necessary thing to have. And I was thinking about moving on or just cleaning, like we downsize collections or consolidate, whatever, just moving on, maybe think about it next year. The prices have gone down. Like I got a quote from one of these Kelley Blue Book, trade in, put in your price, we'll give you cash.
Yeah.
Go to your local Porsche dealer. The price was at least $10,000 lower, if not more, than what I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's really, the market has severely corrected itself on the used cars, especially.
Yeah.
It's really different. So Muhammad Ali says it's amazing how the minute a watch drops below retail, it becomes so undesirable. These are good times for us collectors to get what we want. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Watch on Wood says, what I find odd is that the watch market is behind the car market. People don't need watches, but they usually do need cars. And that's why it's behind. Because people had to buy, but they were looking at alternatives to. So if you were a Jeep buyer, so we do a lot of leasing at our store. So if you had a Grand Cherokee that you would lease for $425 a month, and you come back into the dealership, over the last year, and it's $725 a month. It's a big difference. And maybe you've leased, 2-3 Grand Cherokees in a year, in your life, and in a row, and they've always been, relatively the same. And now they're so much more expensive. Well, then you started to say, well, I can't afford that, or I don't want to pay that for my car. I'm going to go look at a Kia or a Hyundai or a Nissan and see what kind of deals they have, or a Mazda. And people were leaving because of that. Now watches, because they weren't a need, held on a little bit longer, and they've been, but when I watch what's happening in the watch market, and I've been saying this for 2 years since when I first got on these streams, that I said it's coming. Because I see the parallels. I've lived it, and I can see what's happening with the market. Like the market is doing exactly what the cars did, just at a slower rate right now, a slower pace. It's coming.
Yeah.
And so like your hype stuff is still going to be your hype stuff, but your regular inventory is going to be much more readily available this year, I believe.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for these dealers, and I want to see what the numbers how the numbers play out when they do that Morgan Stanley report on end of year. It's Rolex, Cartier, Omega, and then the rest of them. I'm pretty sure they'll show. See, it's also always misleading because they'll show, revenues went up year over year. Yeah, because they raised prices 14%. Right. There's something called inflation.
I'm also
record revenues. It's like, okay.
Right. So I'm also curious to see what it's going to be like, that report this year, because the Asian market seems to have really fallen off.
Yes. Oh, big time.
And that's a thing that we don't always think about, but it seems like, like your Longines, certain models of Omegas, Cartiers, a lot of these watches sell really, we're selling really strong in the Asian markets. And if they aren't, what does that do to those numbers?
I agree. I mean, Vacheron is a perfect example.
Yeah.
And you see what's happened to the overseas. And those deals just keep getting better every time I mentioned that a black dial overseas. I have the blue one, the 3-hander, which I love that watch. It's just it's a great watch. The black dial is even $4,000 or $5,000 less expensive, and it keeps going. Just when I think it cannot go any lower, it does. They cannot get rid of those watches, and they're readily available. They still need to sell the new ones at Vacheron. The Asian market has basically collapsed. So we'll see what happens there. I agree. Until the Asian market, turns around or stabilizes, I think the prices continue to go down.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me ask you, as an Omega lover, right? As someone all about the brands, the first Omega in space.
Yes.
There you go. That one.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I've heard a few people saying that, I don't agree with this, but I've heard them say, well, now that they have the first Omega in space, I would get that and not get the 321. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Like the 321 is the 321, right? It's just a different beast.
If you don't want to spend 321 money, I think what that is. Because let's go find the 321. So what's this one? Like $7,900, which still seems ridiculous for a Speedmaster, but hey.
What it is, it is what it is.
There you go. Here's a caliber 321 in steel, 15.4. So I think this is. So I bought an expensive Speedmaster, not quite this expensive. But so if you don't want to spend 15.4, you can get a first Omega in space, literally, basically half.
Yeah.
You're paying for that watch. So that's, I think, what the attraction is. Now you don't get the exhibition back, and you don't get the 321 movement, and there's differences. But let's go. It's a nice package you get with the 321. And I know, like Dear Artifact, he waited forever to finally get his, because he's a big NASA guy, and that was a girl watch for him.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw that on Dear Artifact's wrist in New York.
Yeah,
in the metal. And I've seen it at Omega as well, but it's gorgeous. I registered interest in one. The AD said, they'll see what they can do. That was a while ago, less than a year ago. And I know now that I've seen them getting closer to retail price in the aftermarket. So
even the Snoopy, is getting close.
Yes, I know.
I think Chase over at Nashville has one for like 15 something for Snoopy right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
great deal. When you consider where they were at the top.
Absolutely. So like,
it's a good looking watch. This first Omega in space. I like the colorway.
It is. So I have this one. I just picked this one up 2 months ago. But the reason I wanted this one was I'm not really a NASA guy. I'm a more car guy, racing guy. So the racing dial was good for me. But the big thing for me was this is the one with what they call the spirate system.
Right.
So if you look on this picture on the right, see if you look where the arrow is, you can adjust the timekeeping on this in 0.1 second increments. This watch is good to 0. It will not lose time. And mine's been running dead on. I mean, dead nuts on.
Wow.
But 0 to +2 seconds a day, which I know it doesn't really mean that much, but as a watch nerd, it does.
No, it does. It does. Because you could argue it's better than Rolex's superlative chronometer certification, right? It's always.
I like the master, or not the master chronometer, the coaxial escapement as a movement, because I think it's ingenious. It extends your service time. There's a lot of reasons I like it over the Rolex movement. I don't dislike Rolex. I just dislike the way Rolex treat, not so much Rolex, but their authorized dealers treat people.
Yes.
Last few years. That's my thing with Rolexes. And I look at it like, well, I can get this spirate system, this tri-level coaxial escapement movement, which is amazing that they found a way to mass produce this thing. It's amagnetic. I could sit in a MRI machine with this thing, and not timekeeping. To me, those are cool things. And I love. The other reason I love Omega so much is if you look at this picture here, I love these lyre lugs. I love that twisted lug.
The twisted lugs.
I like it.
It's cool. It's very cool.
Pleasing to me. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, the Rolex they all kind of look squared off and very industrial to me. If that, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not as appealing of as a package to me. And I don't know, whatever people like, they like. I don't care. I'm not here to make lots of judgments on that kind of thing. It just, to me, that makes a difference, and it makes when I look down, I look at it, and I like it, and I smile. That's what's important. And that honeycomb dial is freaking. The pictures do not do it justice. It is so cool in the flesh. Let me see if I have a good picture of it. There. Let's do this. Boom. That dial is so cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great pattern. That honeycomb is special.
To me, it makes the watch.
That's clean. And I love the way they do the date on that watch as well. And you know what I've been looking at? The Mark II, either the racing or the non-racing Speedmasters. And I know someone, actually Blake, if you know who he is, Blake Rea, who he's a watch guy in Vegas. He loves all different types, boxes. He kind of swims in that pool, right? And he refurbishes old watches and vintage watches, and any cool watch he'll buy. He's interested in. And he got me into, because he refurbished one of those older Omegas, and I think it had the 861 movement, not the 321. That would be incredible if it had the 321. I think it has the 861. They look like they're definitely 70s kind of moon, space inspired watches when Omega came out with those. I know they did they
kind of did a reissue though.
Imagine a reissue.
Yeah.
I mean, those to me look very cool as well, but I love the date at the 6. It's
dated 6, and this one on the 10th, it goes into it. The 10th comes up in Speedmaster font because it's when this watch was released, it was the 10-year anniversary of the original Aquaterra greater than 15,000 gauss watch.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you get that cool on the 10th. You get
Mhm.
that cool kind of script date look, which I think, to me, those are the little things that are important to me. It doesn't mean I don't like Rolex. I love the Explorer 40. I like the Explorer 2. I'm not crazy about the Cyclops on it. I've owned a Submariner and 2 Datejusts in my life. They were okay. The Submariner is actually the worst watch I ever owned in my life. It was the one I had the most problems with.
Oh wow.
Sent it back to Rolex a couple times.
Damn.
And then was without it for months, which was disappointing at best. And then I ended up trading it in on another Datejust, a two-tone Datejust.
Yeah. I mean, look, that could definitely have an impact on your view of the brand if you happen to get a bad one. And
the next one was fine. So it was, it wasn't a, complete, so 2 out of 3 ran perfectly, looked, were functioned properly and everything.
Mhm.
But so it's not that big of a deal, but it was, it was one of those things in my mind. But in my mind, I'm like, well, for what I would pay for one Rolex, I can have 2 Omegas.
Right.
Yeah.
Now listen, I think the lines are clear. I mean, look, there's some overlap, but I think that folks that are clearly in the Omega camp, they do have issues with a lot of things Rolex comes out with, and it literally boggles their mind. Like they can't grasp why people love Rolex so much. Like especially, I'll give you an example. Yeah, the Daytona. I mean, they'll say that I see no significance of this piece whatsoever, right? It lost the space race. It wasn't selected. Then they did some deal with Daytona to brand it.
Right.
It's illegible. There's nothing special. And then I'll mention, well, the Paul Newman went for $17 million. And they're like, well, who cares? Like they just gloss over it. I'm like, yeah, but that's significant to people who own the Daytona. They look at that like, oh, well, the Paul Newman. And then every watch is named the Paul Newman. There's so many Daytona Paul Newmans, right? And I don't have a Daytona. I never did.
So
screw down pushers, Mark.
Yeah.
What's the point?
It gives you a little bit of variety, but most of their watches, this is your sub. This is your, what I mean? Like,
I know.
Maybe we'll give you a little bit different bezel, but we're not doing anything to the dials. We're not, like,
no.
Unless you want to pay a lot of money for like something like a meteorite dial, or something. You don't get all that. You don't get the variety in them.
Yeah.
But that's fine for some people. It depends on why you're in it. But what I do like is that because things have kind of settled down, that those people that you were talking about that disappeared, you get more of the true hobbyists and the true lovers of horology and timepieces and watches and that are left in the space. So in the wake of those people leaving, I think whereas the volume isn't what it was, the quality is much better.
Yep. Yeah, and listen, if it's a buyer's market too, so the brands are going to have to listen. Hopefully, they are listening to us in terms of what we want. We certainly don't want the price increases, so we'll see. What Rolex, how that plays out for Rolex next year. I mean, the idea should be for Rolex, let's get these watches into people's hands that love the brand, that want to own a Rolex, and not in these gray market dealers' hands.
So
that would be a good thing.
Right. What you effectively did by shipping off all those watches to the gray market is you made a bunch of money up front, but your long-term business plan is going to suffer because you threw away some enthusiasts that would have been into the brand more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I became more of an Omega guy, even more of an Omega. And I was an Omega fan before, but I became even more of an Omega fan because of the way things were.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So yeah, I think, when you look at your core customers who are going, the people that are going to be left once the hype people and the money making people are gone, you're left with your enthusiasts. And if you piss off your the enthusiast market, what do you have left?
Not much.
No, it's short term. So like our dealership, we didn't charge, like when things were super hot. Okay, when you couldn't get cars, we weren't charging over sticker, and a lot of dealers were thousands over window sticker. If we had the car, you could buy it for MSRP. We weren't discounting them, but we weren't raising the prices. And when you look at our business, the drop off after COVID and the shortages, ours isn't nearly as bad as a lot of the dealers out there, because a lot of the dealers pissed off their customers because now they're trying to get out of those cars and they paid thousands too much.
Right.
And now they're trying to trade them in.
Yeah, paying over sticker because that's what you can charge,
right.
Is insanity.
Right. So that was a very short-term look at the market.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, my Rolex AD, like I said before, I mean, they opened a few, like 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago, around there, maybe a little bit more. I went in there. I ended up with a root beer. I wanted a GMT from the dealer, and so they came through, and the sales associate said, "I'm looking forward to build a continuing relationship with you." Right. I said, "Terrific. I'm a Rolex guy, from the beginning. That's just what I had, what I wore, and it happened to be a Submariner date, the 16610, which I still have. So I'm partial to the brand. Let's just say, like, I was brainwashed from an early age, by Rolex. So I still love Rolex, and I own a bunch. But
it's a great brand. It's a great watch.
But the experience. So what happened? I registered interest in like 3 or 4 other pieces, and I wasn't a pain in the ass about it. I wasn't like going to my AD, bringing him chocolates every day. I got him a gift, a nice bottle. I think I got him a nice bottle of Macallan for the root beer. Mm-hmm. I told him I'm a collector. I'm not selling the piece. I still haven't sold it. Or traded it. I still own it. None of that mattered. I got 0 calls.
Right.
And if I pop in there and say hello, he's like, "Yeah, we don't get any." It was the same story all the time. We don't get pieces in. We don't know what we're going to get. They just kind of show up, and we get surprised. Like, what's in the box? What did Rolex corporate decide to give us? And they gave me the whole song and dance about, you have to wait in line and no one gets special treatment. It's all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah.
And I kind of got fed up with the brand, and I still love the brand, but I'm not chasing the brand. I'm not playing the game.
I will probably buy another Rolex in my life, but it's not going to be until things you can just walk in and buy. I'm not saying I need to go in and get, a discount like I used to. I just need to be able to go in and say, "Can I buy that?" Yes.
Right. Let's have a nice experience. I'm giving you money. You're going to give me a product. We'll have a nice unboxing. You'll size it for me. We'll take the photo.
Exactly.
We'll take the photo up. Everyone will be happy. And I'll be on my merry way with the, with the card in my name, and, away we go.
Yeah.
But, and that's the way it should be. I mean, Omega, you go in there, and except for the 321, you could pretty much walk out with anything you want.
Yeah. Like this watch. This watch is not easy to get. And they actually ordered this in special for a guy. So not only did I get a discount on the watch, I got an extra strap. I got, they treated me like a king, or, good. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that breeds brand loyalty, because Omega never had that issue of telling people, no, you can't have it, or you have to wait 3 years.
Right.
Putting aside the 3-2-1, but
the 3-2-1 or the Snoopy,
or the Snoopy. Yeah. By the way, are they coming out with another iteration of the silver Snoopy?
Could be.
Should be coming out.
Yeah.
At some point.
Omega's had some really cool releases here lately. You know, they just came
They
out.
They have. Actually, I bumped into one of the sales associates when I was getting coffee right before, I think it was Christmas Eve. In the parking lot, and he's a nice gentleman. We had a good conversation. I told him I registered interest for the 3-2-1.
Yeah.
And then he started rattling off, all of the other releases they came out with this year. Some of which, most of which I'd seen before and heard about. But yeah, we had a nice conversation. He said, I said I'll stop by. I'll come by because they're always nice. They're always pleasant.
Exactly. They really are. And they're cool watches. And they do, the other thing that Omega does that Rolex doesn't do nearly enough of is you can get different materials. Even you can get ceramic, you can get titanium, you can, what I mean? Like there's you have a lot of choices. You have your golds, and you have there's a pretty good variety of stuff. You should be able to find something that you like.
Yeah.
Want to wait for Rolex, or you just can't look at it as you can't look at an Omega as I'm going to make money on it, because
no,
you're not.
Right. Newsflash. No, and you're not going to make money on 90 to 95%, maybe even more now. There's
worse and worse
of watches. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
But, hey,
that's fine. I buy them to wear them, and I've always bought them knowing that I was going to lose a little bit on it. You never lose, not a ton if you're smart about it. But I always thought, I'm going to lose a little bit on this watch, but I'm going to wear it for as long as I like it, and then when I don't like it, I'll buy something else.
Yep.
It just so happened that I hit a sweet spot for about 2 years where I was getting these like I said, they were spend history purchases that people would then trade back in on stuff, and and I'm finding watches that are 2 months to a year old, with authentic with cards, all the stuff, barely worn, if at all, at amazing prices. I'm like, well,
yeah,
all right, win for Mark. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, what's incredible deals is the all gold Omegas.
Oh yeah,
the yellow gold with I think it has the black dial Speedmaster
and the green dial.
Yep, the green one.
Gold. Yeah, those are those are incredible deals out there on those watches.
Yeah, incredible deals. But Mark, I have to hop because I'm gonna have to jump for a late lunch.
Oh, no problem. So you said you do a lot with JJ's?
Oh yeah, I'm always on JJ's.
Right.
Yeah, I've been on JJ's since he started, basically. Yeah. So we do Sunday night generally. He does a show. The holidays have been sporadic the last couple of weeks. But yeah, we generally do his Sunday Fun Day show, which is Sunday night. Then there's another group where he's not on the panel. It's hosted by Robert Wood on Tuesday night, and they do more of a deep dive into a whole variety of watches, but all price points. And so Robert's on there with generally who's on there? Duco Ted, probably heard, Duco's usually on there. This Blake Rhea.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh. I gotta hold on. I have to. Don't allow that. Sorry. And Jen, you probably Jen G. I think she's on that.
Yeah, she's on my Instagram.
Yeah, she goes on that Tuesday night show. But JJ does Sunday night. He does his Sunday Fun Day. I think it's 9:30.
Okay.
Typically, he's been doing that for years, and then sometimes he does like a Thursday or a Friday night show.
Gotcha.
So it's not every day. It's not. It's not an every night show, but it's a couple times a week.
Cool.
Yeah. Be awesome to have you on. Yeah. No.
Absolutely.
No question.
Very good. Well, thanks for popping on. I appreciate it. It was good talking to you.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Captain.
All right. You too.
All right.
Happy New Year's. Bye.
Happy New Year. What a great show. And a little bit of Brian, a little bit of George, a little bit of Captain, some great conversations. Wow. Wait in anticipation to see what it is that I bought this week when it comes in. Like I said, it's they're gonna size it and ship it, I believe, Monday. I don't know if they overnight it, I'll have it Tuesday. If not, Wednesday or Thursday. Probably Thursday, I think, because Wednesday's New Year's Day. And like I said, I normally get them shipped to the dealership because that way there's always somebody there to sign for the damn thing. And it doesn't have to sit, or I don't have to let it sit on my porch. So, guys, thanks for coming by. I appreciate all of you who watch the show, of course. I'm sure there's other things to go watch or will be for your watch streaming entertainment. And we will see you all soon. Be good. Be good. Watch if you're subscribe to my Instagram and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. You'll figure out when and where I'm going to unveil and unbox this new piece. I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully 52% of you are as well. On that note, I think we're going to Lucha our way on out of here. You guys good with that? And